Chapter 521, Contact in Wubu Market, II. With this new insight, Li Xizhi took out a small letter and wrote a message to his family before sending it off. Moments later, the old man returned with news that a monk wished to see him. A monk. Li Xizhi was alarmed. He carefully inquired about the monk's appearance and confirmed it was indeed Qinghong. With a talisman ready in his hand, he left the sect to meet him. The monk had fair skin, sharp eyes, a long face, and round ears. He greeted Li Xizhi solemnly. "Greetings, fellow Taoist. I have been entrusted by your esteemed family to deliver a treasured panacea." Upon hearing the mention of a treasured panacea, Li Xizhi had already begun to piece things together. However, Qinghong did not present it immediately. Instead, he studied Li Xizhi closely and said softly, "Please show me the jade pendant, fellow Taoist." Quite a stubborn one, Li Xizhi smiled. Though they had just met, both were cautious. Li Xizhi revealed the jade pendant that symbolized the direct lineage of the Li family. After verifying his identity, Qinghong apologized and handed him a jade box. Li Xizhi scanned the box with his spiritual sense, confirming that it did indeed contain the blood sun fruit. "Master Monk, please stay for a moment. The sword is about to be completed, and I would appreciate it if you could take it back with you," he said softly. Qinghong nodded and departed, allowing Li Xizhi to breathe a sigh of relief. The matter with Li Yancheng has finally been resolved. Now I'll head to Xunyun Market to establish a connection with him first. With Situ Mo away in the Eastern Sea, Li Xizhi felt much more at ease. He handed over the other responsibilities to the two elder men and set off for Xunyun Market. Xunyun Market was located near Mount Qingdu, not far from Libu Prefecture. As Li Xizhi approached, mist rose around him, obscuring his appearance. Upon landing outside the market, an embryonic breathing realm cultivator greeted him, asking, "Senior, you are?" Li Xizhi simply replied, "I am a rogue cultivator from the Mushroom Forest Plain, traveling here for now." Since Li Xizhi came here for a personal matter, he could not use his identity as a member of Azure Pond and had to fabricate a random backstory instead. The embryonic breathing realm cultivator showed no surprise. He pulled out a round Dharma artifact and said respectfully, "Please pass in a trace of true essence, Senior." The devil plague had been rampant for some time, and major markets had taken precautions to prevent devil cultivators from entering, ensuring the safety of the markets from internal and external threats. Li Xizhi nodded slowly, infused the artifact with his true essence, and watched as it immediately emitted a brilliant white light. The cultivator's eyes widened in surprise. A cultivator practicing authentic techniques. Li Xizhi acknowledged him with a nod, dismissing the flattery as he accepted the jade token offered by the man. He stepped inside the bustling market and searched for a while before quickly locating the Enshui Alchemy Pavilion. As soon as he entered, a servant approached. Li Xizhi waved his hand and said, "Please invite your shop manager to see me." Despite having concealed his feathered robe and obscured his face, his calm demeanor and extraordinary presence commanded respect. The servant hurried off, and soon, a tall, thin man descended the stairs, dressed in a short coat. He smiled and cupped his fist, introducing himself. "I am Li Yangxi. It's an honor to meet you, fellow Taoist." Although Li Yangxi was only in the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm, he showed great courtesy to Li Xizhi. Li Xizhi returned the politeness, following him into a secret chamber. Once inside, he removed his disguise and revealed his true identity. Recognition flickered in Li Yangxi's eyes right away. "Ah, so you're Xizhi. My elder brother has told me about you and I've been expecting you." Li Xizhi presented the jade box and said softly, "It's a small gift for our meeting." "Please accept it." Li Yangxi took the box, and with a quick check through his spiritual sense, he understood its contents. "Is your Li family from the Wei State?" he asked. Li Xizhi nodded in response, and Li Yangxi smiled warmly. "So, you are from the main family. My brothers and I have suspected only the descendants of Wei State's Li family could produce such talent." His demeanor grew more enthusiastic as he added, "Considering our lineage, we trace back at least to ancestor Mutuo. Let's not dwell on that, as I don't want to make you uncomfortable." Li Xizhi nodded modestly. Given their shared lineage spanning thousands of years, it was difficult to trace back now. Li Yangxi had merely brought that up as a way to bring both of them closer. Ultimately, Li Yancheng needed a reliable clan, and the Li family required a seasoned alchemist at the peak of the Foundation establishment realm. Li Xizhi understood this but maintained his polite demeanor. Li Yangxi leaned in and whispered, "My elder brother doesn't have much time left. The only path forward is to break through to the Purple Mansion realm. In the future, we will need more assistance from the main family." Recognizing the conditions being laid out, Li Xizhi nodded politely and said, "Of course, but my family is weak, and I'm afraid we can't offer much help at this moment. There are certain matters where we will require your assistance, Senior." "Of course," Li Yangxi replied. They exchanged glances, reaching a tacit agreement. Li Xizhi continued, "When the time comes, we will need Senior Yancheng's help within the sect." "Yes." Li Yangxi paused, then took out a pill from his robe and smiled. "Take a look." Li Xizhi swept his spiritual sense over the pill, seeing that the inside was white and thus confirming it was indeed an essence gathering. He felt a surge of happiness, wondering if Li Yancheng had secretly refined it himself without expending blood qi, or if he had specially asked around about the Li family's preferences and prepared it accordingly. Li Xizhi expressed his gratitude repeatedly. Li Yangxi chuckled, but then his expression darkened and he said harshly, "The incident about the wrathful Maha is inevitable after all. After a whole 1,000 years, these Dao lineages still won't let us go." There was finally a note of sincerity in his tone. Li Xizhi was taken aback as Li Yangxi continued, "My eldest brother was also killed by a monk. This hatred is a shared animosity within the Li family of Wei. As long as my Li family remains, we will never forget the blood debt of our destroyed homeland and the lives taken. When my brother heard about Maha, he speculated that it was connected to the Li lineage of Wei and was eager to meet you." Li Xizhi then realized there was another reason for how smoothly things had gone. He nodded solemnly, recalling the unresolved hatred between the Qingdu Li family and Maha. At that moment, he was struck by a thought and said, "Speaking of this, our whereabouts have recently been exposed, and we've been ambushed by our enemies. The Buddhist cultivators from Xiao seem to be involved." Li Yangxi frowned, hesitating before responding. "If you find yourself in trouble with the monks, you can always ask me for help. I see that you're a smart child who knows how to navigate these situations, so I won't say more." Li Xizhi nodded. He knew he and Li Yangxi were still not close enough for him to divulge information about Situ Mo, fearing it might frighten Li Yangxi away. Instead, he replied, "If I come across any trace of a Buddhist cultivator, I will certainly let you know." After talking for a while, they established the rules for future meetings before Li Xizhi turned and left. He rode the wind, stroking the hilt of his sword and lost in his thoughts. Azure Pond, overseas, Moongaze. Father is already preparing to make a move overseas. The family is growing stronger. 7th and 8th brothers have a chance to establish their foundations. They are merely waiting for the right opportunity. For the first time in 20 years of hiding and being submissive at Azure Pond, his expression shifted, revealing his ambition. He no longer concealed his desires. With the support of Li Yancheng, the Yuan, Xiao, and Ning families, it would be entirely feasible to unify Moongaze Lake. Muxian. As long as we eliminate this obstacle, we can quickly seize control of the entire Moongaze Lake. Chapter 522 Hanlin, Mount Qingdu. Time flowed like a gentle stream. Mount Qingdu had fully established itself as a peak in the lake, seamlessly connected to the earth veins beneath it. It was no longer possible to tell that the mountain was moved here. Li Xijun was practicing swordsmanship on the mountain. Compared to his brothers, he was not particularly gifted with swords. Over the past 2 years, Li Ximing had broken through to the 9th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm with the help of pills, and his cultivation was progressing well. Li Xizhi had also reached the 7th heavenly layer, while Li Xijun remained stuck at the 6th heavenly layer. The last 3 heavenly layers of the Qi cultivation realm are really challenging. I'm less talented than them and had only managed to keep pace before due to receiving some advantages. It's only natural that I've fallen behind now. Li Xijun remained positive, practicing his swordsmanship day and night. As he swung his long sword, he gradually developed a certain grace, thus attaining mastery of this technique. Threefold moonlight is indeed difficult. After years of hard work, I've finally made some progress, he murmured happily to himself. While he continued training, he noticed a monk landing on the peak with a long jade box slung across his back, gazing at him warmly. "Master Monk, you're finally back." Qinghong had been away for 2 years. If it was not for Li Xizhi writing home, Li Xijun might have feared something had happened to the monk during his journey. He glanced at the jade box on the monk's back before his eyes lit up with excitement. He exclaimed joyfully, "The Dharma sword is done." Li Xijun currently possessed no valuable treasures. Li Yuanjiao had given him glazed dusk, a string of red beads before, but he had given the protective Dharma artifact to his younger sister, Li Yuexiang. For now, a sword was all that he had. Even a calm person like Li Xijun, who seldom displayed joy, was elated by the fact that his elder brother had crafted a Foundation Establishment Realm Dharma artifact for him. "Indeed," Qinghong replied, nodding in affirmation. He removed the jade box from his back and carefully took out the long sword inside it. The blade was thin, long, and white like fresh snow, gleaming coldly in the light. Qinghong presented the sword with both hands. This sword measures 3 kai, 9 kun, and 3 fen in length, weighing 92 jin and 12 taels. It is a Foundation Establishment Dharma artifact crafted from cold iron and metal essence. As shimmery as the flowing water and as pure as white frost, it is named Hanlin. Li Xijun was entranced, unable to tear his gaze away. With trembling hands he accepted the sword, nodding in awe. Good, he murmured in a daze. The Hanlin sword clanged as Li Xijun held it in his hand. Suddenly the 2 characters inscribed on the blade lit up, emitting a radiant white light, as if rejoicing. Turning his hand and holding the sharp sword upside down, the white tip touched his other shoulder, exuding a chilling aura. He measured the sword's length for a moment before expressing his satisfaction once again. Good. He raised his eyebrow and swung the sword, summoning a gust of cold wind around him. Cold light danced in the air before transforming into 3 streams of white, crystalline light that twirled and swirled around him. Threefold moonlight, he exclaimed. Xijun exhaled deeply, and the 3 streams of light vanished. After so many years, he could finally execute the sword technique he had honed with the Hanlin sword in his hand. The technique froze the rock beneath his feet and caused it to shatter into pieces. Nice. A deep and hoarse voice interrupted him. Xijun recognized it instantly. He quickly sheathed the sword and bowed respectfully. Greetings, ancestor. Li Yuanjiao emerged slowly from the stone path with a pleased smile. You have a natural talent for swordsmanship. Your diligence and passion for the sword will ultimately bear fruit, he praised softly. He paused, continuing with a hint of nostalgia. Ancestor Tangya practiced swordsmanship for 30 years before mastering this technique. You've caught up with him. Xijun immediately refuted this with respect. How can I possibly compare to the ancestor? I'm slow-witted. I've studied this sword technique for 20 years. The ancestor may have practiced swordsmanship for 30 years, but he had learned this technique in less than 10 after receiving this sword manual. It's unfair to compare us like that. Seeing the terror in Li Zijun's expression, Li Yuanjiao could tell that Li Zijun genuinely revered the ancestor and showed humility. Well, at least you're doing better than I did, he remarked, clearly pleased. Li Zijun was about to respond, but Li Yuanjiao interrupted him with a wave of his hand, then took the Hanlin sword. He inspected it closely and remarked in a deep voice, the material is excellent. I suspect it's second only to the Qingche sword. Its value will surely reflect that. Fortunately, it was modified and not forged from scratch. Send 30 spirit stones to Xizhi. Make sure he doesn't stubbornly refuse it, lest it hinders his cultivation. Li Zijun nodded. The Li family had been doing well, with hundreds of spirit stones accumulated over the past few years. Spending a few dozen wasn't an issue for them now. Li Yuanjiao returned the sharp sword to him and mumbled, it's a well-chosen name. Li Zijun pursed his lips, while Qinghong remained silent too. After a moment, the monk excused himself and quickly left. Li Yuanjiao took out a small letter and said in a serious tone, this is the letter Xizhi sent home. It's been delivered to my cave dwelling for some time already. Take a look. Li Zijun nodded, glancing at the letter briefly before replying, in my opinion, I'd go overseas immediately. At least I can start looking for an island to establish a foothold, and at the same time, I can ensure Situ Mo is too distracted to target Profound Peak Gate. After all, Profound Peak Gate has a good relationship with our family, and Kong Tingyun is a friend of second uncle. We should join forces with her. At least we can ensure Situ Mo suffers a setback. He added. His mind raced as he made quick deductions. It would be best to identify Situ Mo's allies or connections and eliminate them first. That way he won't be able to trace our whereabouts, greatly reducing the threat. He continued softly, Qinghong should stay here since he is the best at defense. With the family's grand formation in place and Situ Mo overseas and absent, we should have nothing to worry about. While Li Zijun said that, he knew that once everything had been determined, the family would not necessarily need to be guarded by a Foundation Establishment realm cultivator. However, he knew Li Yuanjiao was cautious by nature, so he held back from saying more. Li Yuanjiao had been in seclusion for over 2 years, healing from his injuries. With the aid of numerous spirit pills, his cultivation had even improved slightly. That's a feasible plan. However, if Situ Mo's ally is indeed a Buddhist cultivator from Xiao state, we may struggle to find this monk without Qinghong's assistance, let alone confront him, he commented. Li Zijun nodded slightly and replied, Auntie is a powerful combatant and must go. So uncle is suggesting that we should leave Senior Wushao behind instead. Li Yuanjiao simply nodded in confirmation. Yes, we'll need that snake demon to guide us in the Eastern Sea, so we may as well deal with Situ Mo first, then let Qinghong return home to take his place. I guess that's the only way. Li Zijun sighed softly before continuing with a doubtful voice, but I worry that as soon as we set out from here, that person will be able to deduce our plans. I asked Qinghong about this before. That person will have to pay a certain price to deduce my position, so it's not like he'll immediately find out. In this case, it's better to make a swift decision and leave immediately to catch Situ Mo off guard. Though Li Yuanjiao spoke confidently, a flicker of doubt lingered in his heart. My family has gradually gained influence and can at least gather some news now. The Purple Mansion realm cultivators likely won't make any moves. However, my greatest concern is the possibility of a group of master monks from Xiao state lying in wait. He pondered this for a moment before deciding to send Qinghong to the Eastern Sea first, deliver a letter to Kong Tingyun of Profound Peak Gate to inquire about the current situation, and then strategize from there. Chapter 523, Setting Out for the Eastern Sea. Li Yuanjiao sat in the mountains, reading the Law of Celestial Moon for a while before taking a moment to reply to Li Zijai's letter. informing him of the situation back home. The Li family was preparing to head overseas, and with their current strength, capturing a Foundation Establishment realm demon creature to be used for requesting talisman qi for Li Xizhi would not be too difficult. Li Yuanjiao had been thinking about this and decided to write to ask if they could carry out the task. He waited for over a month, but Qinghong had not yet returned. Instead, a letter from Li Xizhi arrived first. I have already broken through to the 7th heavenly layer of the qi cultivation realm, and my foundation is solid. I should be able to reach the 8th heavenly layer in 3 to 5 years. After taking some pills, I will be able to touch upon the Foundation Establishment realm. Using that qi to increase my cultivation now would be a waste. It would be better to wait until I reach the Foundation Establishment realm, and then I will return home. Li Yuanjiao understood Li Xizhi's point and nodded in approval. As a disciple of an immortal sect, Li Xizhi still had many spells and techniques to learn, and was in no rush to break through to the Foundation Establishment realm. He could even afford to delay it for a while longer. Thus, Li Yuanjiao dismissed the idea of requesting talisman qi for him and decided to wait until his son achieved the Foundation Establishment realm. Reflecting on the passage of time, Li Yuanjiao suddenly realized that Li Xizhi was already 35 years old. He felt a moment of surprise, then realized that he himself was over 50, though his early advancement in the qi cultivation realm left him still looking like a man in his early mid-30s. What a shame the repeated injuries have delayed my cultivation. Otherwise, I would have reached the edge of the mid-foundation establishment realm by now, Li Yuanjiao said as he let out a sigh. Li Yuanjiao's talisman qi had significantly enhanced his speed of cultivation during the qi cultivation realm, but since the foundation establishment realm only had 3 stages, its effects had not manifested yet, leaving him feeling somewhat behind. Well, it is inevitable. He held a pale purple jade slip in his hand when a tall, broad-shouldered man with a square face approached him. In a respectful tone, he said, "Zicheng greets the ancestor." Li Zicheng had already reached the 4th heavenly layer of the qi cultivation realm. He had been diligent and meticulous in his duties over the years, never making any serious mistakes. In a gentle tone, Li Yuanjiao asked him a question, to which Li Zicheng replied, reporting to ancestor, "Something has happened at the devil lair in the east. I had stationed people to keep watch, and although it has been quiet for the past few years, there was constant fighting early this morning. Blood was spilled and the sounds of battle echoed through the sky. The returning scouts reported that the devil lair has been destroyed. How many people were involved?" Li Yuanjiao asked. Li Zicheng hesitated before replying, "Just one, a Foundation Establishment realm cultivator." Li Yuanjiao frowned. Li Zicheng replied cautiously, "It is said that the man came from the east. The devil cultivators in the lair swarmed him, but he killed nearly all of them, leaving only 3 or 5 that managed to escape." Upon hearing this, Li Yuanjiao frowned even deeper. Not of the Foundation Establishment realm. Then he must be a qi cultivator. The devil cultivators were not fools. If they had encountered a Foundation Establishment realm cultivator, they would have fled immediately rather than fight. If it had been a proper Foundation Establishment realm cultivator, there would not have been any survivors at all. Li Zicheng nodded slightly and added, "The man wielded a golden hammer and breathed fire, fighting the devil cultivators for quite some time before scattering them. He might be a cultivator from the Eastern Sea." Just as he finished speaking, a purple bolt of lightning descended from the sky. Li Qinghong emerged from her seclusion, looking radiant and full of energy. Li Yuanjiao waved for Li Zicheng to leave and fell into deep thought. Li Qinghong stopped Li Zicheng and listened closely to his report before letting him go. She then remarked, "Zhang Yun personally escorted someone and went out of his way to intimidate the nearby families, ensuring they would not interfere." It seemed he was expecting that man to show up. Li Yuanjiao nodded and analyzed further, saying, "Perhaps they intended to deliver some cultivation technique or dharma artifact to that person, setting up this scenario deliberately. Leaving such obvious clues was a clear ploy to pass the item into his hands. It was likely part of the Golden Feather sex plot. They were either targeting someone or manipulating him." The Li family, having become a clan, had learned over the years how to navigate the schemes of the 3 sects and 7 gates. In the past, they were inexperienced and got caught up in the schemes, but now Li Yuanjiao could see through them immediately. He sighed, contemplating, "When Maha set up their trap years ago, I am sure other clans saw our Li family the same way. All we could do was remain silent, waiting in fear to see how things would unfold." Li Qinghong nodded, now fully understanding. Whoever that person was, the Li family would not dare to get involved, lest they bring ruin upon themselves. She spoke softly, "As long as there is an outcome, that is all that matters. With the devil lair dealt with and Zhang Yun gone, we can finally relax a little." The siblings both sighed in relief. Just then, Qinghong arrived, looking travel-worn as he descended into the formation on a gust of wind. He chanted a Buddhist verse and said, "This humble monk is pleased to have fulfilled his duty." Li Qinghong accepted the letter being handed to her, glancing briefly at the monk who delivered it. He lowered his gaze, a slight sheen of sweat on his forehead. After a few polite words, he hurriedly withdrew from the mountain. Li Qinghong raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Beside her, Li Yuanjiao merely glanced at the letter before reading through it quickly. It was from Kong Tingyun. Her handwriting was elegant and her tone casual. She began the letter by launching into a tirade against Situ Mo, calling him treacherous and deceitful, devoid of honor and loyalty. She then warmly invited the Li family to visit her, mentioning that it would be a good way to vex Situ Mo. Her tone felt as if she were smiling while saying it, without any sense of distance. At the end of the letter, she added, "Toward the end of June, a group of disciples from the sect will head overseas. If it is convenient, Brother Yuanjiao, why not join them and offer some protection to our disciples? It will save me another trip." Not a bad idea, Li Yuanjiao thought, nodding quietly to himself. If they could travel alongside members of Profound Peak Gate, it would be safer, especially against any potential scheming from the Buddhist cultivators. Li Qinghong took the letter from him, and after a brief glance, smiled and said, "Kong Tingyun seems quite agreeable." Her almond-shaped eyes briefly lingered on her brother's face. Seeing that Li Yuanjiao's expression remained unchanged as he pondered and planned, she quietly exhaled in relief, thinking to herself, sister-in-law's talent is slightly inferior. She's only at the 7th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm. Once she breaks through, I should give her a talisman pill. Although my brother and his wife share deep affection, they shouldn't be too far apart in strength. Li Qinghong had known Xiao Giluan for many years and had grown quite fond of her. Li Yuanjiao, being upright and impartial like his granduncle Li Tangya, had never granted Xiao Giluan any special treatment or resources. It was only Li Qinghong who occasionally sent her some pills. As Li Qinghong was lost in thought, Li Yuanjiao quickly noticed her distraction and asked a question. She shook her head, snapping herself out of her own thoughts. Only then did Li Yuanjiao say, "The agreed date is approaching. Let us pack up and head out together." Li Qinghong, still holding her spear, replied, "There is nothing much for me to pack, let us go." Li Yuanjiao then summoned the brothers Li Zicheng and Li Xijun along with Li Wushao, instructing them to manage the household carefully and avoid any rash actions. Only after ensuring everything was in order did he and Li Qinghong, along with Qingheng, rise into the sky, riding. Chapter 524, Setting Out for the Eastern Sea. Fearing any potential interference from Buddhist cultivators, they traveled quickly. By dawn the next day, the Profound Peak Gate's territory in Shanji Prefecture soon came into view. An elderly man greeted them, his appearance plain with two small moles on his face. His body, adorned with various jade pendants, clinked as he moved. He greeted them with a hearty laugh. Kong Yu of Profound Peak Gate greets fellow Taoists. Years ago, when Kong Yu was invited by Li Xuanxun to move mountains for the Li family, he had told him about the One Stick of Incense clan. This man could be considered a friend of Li Xuanxun. At that time, Li Yuanjiao was in seclusion and had not met him, but Li Qinghong had. "Greetings, senior," she replied politely. "Ah, please do not call me that. You are flattering me too much." Kong Yu smiled wryly. When he first visited the Li family, Li Qinghong was still in the Qi cultivation realm, and it had been reasonable for him to act like a senior. Now, in the blink of an eye, she had become a foundation establishment realm cultivator, and Kong Yu dared not act overly familiar, humbly declining the honor and asking, "How is Taoist Xuanxun faring?" "My father is in good health," Li Yuanjiao replied. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, several young disciples flew up from below, all at the Qi cultivation realm. They gazed at the two of them with admiration and greeted them respectfully. "Greetings, seniors." Li Qinghong, still looking youthful, was dressed in jade armor and silver boots, exuding a heroic spirit. The male disciples of Profound Peak could not help but stare, clearly both in awe and fear, making Kong Yu visibly embarrassed. Naturally, no one dared to look at Li Yuanjiao, whose more mature appearance gave him a villainous air. He quietly observed the group of disciples, thinking to himself, their cultivation is even lower than Xijun's, and they don't look like disciples from a major sect. They must not be from the sect's core lineage. After everyone had gathered, they set out swiftly, riding the current downstream, heading toward the eastern sea, Wudu Peak. Li Ziming slowly exhaled, and it seemed as though two bright flames flared up in his eyes, flickering and rising before turning into a golden light that gradually faded into nothingness. With a light inhale, he swallowed the long marching fire essence before him into his belly. 2 years ago, he had taken a talisman pill to break through to the 9th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation. Afterward, he diligently cultivated, refining his strength, and now his cultivation was fully consolidated. Li Tangya's generation lacked medicinal pills, and refining one's cultivation was a slow and painstaking process that could take 3 to 5 years. By Li Ziming's generation, however, pills were much more plentiful. Li Ziming himself had no shortage, so his progress was swift. With a flick of his hand, he revealed a jade bottle containing an essence-gathering pill and thought to himself, "Brother Xijun gave me this pill, but I don't really need it. It would be better to leave it for Xijun." Li Ziming was not one to boast, but when it came to cultivation, he was brimming with confidence. His heart was set on the Tao, and he had a spirit fire from heaven and earth in his belly. Over the years, through the practice of dual cultivation and absorbing fire, he had faintly sensed that he was in alignment with this path, giving him a strong assurance of success in reaching the foundation establishment realm. Despite his confidence, Li Ziming hesitated. Failing to reach the foundation establishment realm meant the end of one's life and Tao. If it were anyone else, even with a 99% chance of success, he would keep the matter to himself and not risk letting it slip. But Li Xijun was not just anyone. In Li Ziming's life, there were very few things he truly cared about, and Li Xijun, the younger brother who visited him earnestly every day, was one of them. It was difficult for him to part with that bond. Gritting his teeth, Li Ziming placed the jade bottle on the table, resisting the urge to take it. He locked the door behind him and turned to leave. In front of him stood Meng Zhoyan, her black hair flowing loosely, with the ends tied in a red ribbon and adorned with a small blue-gold orchid. Needing a distraction from the essence-gathering pill, Li Ziming pulled her into his arms. Meng Zhoyan pouted slightly but began to undress, almost out of habit. Li Ziming muttered under his breath while she remained passive, hesitant as though making a decision. Suddenly she asked, "Brother Ming, will you keep me?" Li Ziming frowned, as though repeating himself for the 100th or 200th time, "You can handle it on your own." Lost in his own thoughts, Li Ziming's actions were automatic. Their bodies had long since become accustomed to each other, moving naturally, yet both were distracted. Meng Zhoyan placed her hands on his chest and suddenly spoke, "Li Ziming." It was the first time she had called him by his full name, and he was taken aback. Softly, Meng Zhoyan continued, "You are only relying on the Li family. You think you are a genius. You are just living off the shadow of your forefathers, stripping away everything the Li family has given you. What can you truly call your own?" Sweat dripped down Meng Zhoyan's graceful face as she panted softly, yet her eyes remained calm. She spoke in a quiet voice. Even without a prestigious background, Li Yuanjiao could be a fierce general, Li Xijun could be a swordsman, and Li Zicheng could be a manager. But you are nothing but a coward. Li Ziming closed his eyes as though her words had touched a sore spot. After several breaths, he whispered, "Stop, just stop talking." Meng Zhoyan pushed his hands away, exhaling deeply before saying softly, "I will be leaving." Without hesitation, she stood up and emptied the contents of her storage pouch. Pills, secret technique manuals, paintings, and Li Ziming's clothes, all of it came tumbling down onto him. Nearly overwhelmed by disbelief and caught completely off guard, Li Ziming watched as Meng Zhoyan draped a robe over herself. She cast a purification spell on herself, then walked out of the courtyard, her black hair flowing behind her, her expression resolute. She had barely taken a few steps forward when she saw a white-robed young man standing in the forest, blocking her path. With sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, he held a sword in his arms. Though Meng Zhoyan looked disheveled, her pale skin exposed, the young man respectfully averted his gaze, his expression polite. Meng Zhoyan shook her head gently, the blue-gold orchid in her hair glinting under the moonlight. Her soft eyes were clear and filled with defiance as she asked, "What do you want, senior?" Li Xijun extended his hand politely and said, "I hope you would allow me to inspect your storage pouch." Meng Zhoyan bowed and handed over her storage pouch. Li Xijun examined it carefully and found nothing related to his family. He apologized and returned the pouch but still did not move aside. Left with no other option, Meng Zhoyan cast a spell and swore a profound scenery spiritual oath, vowing not to disclose any of the Li family's secrets. Still, Li Xijun did not relent, his gaze lowered in guilt as he added softly, "I have heard that you are skilled with a painter's brush." Though his tone remained courteous, the Hanlin sword on his back glowed ominously. Meng Zhoyan was not foolish and immediately understood, adding a few more assurances to her vow. Only then did Li Xijun apologize. "You have made many pills for our family over the years. It is Brother Ming's fault for treating you unfairly. This is to compensate you for all the pills you have refined." He untied a storage pouch from his waist and respectfully handed it to her. Meng Zhoyan's face changed, a mix of shame and frustration rising within her. But seeing the genuine sincerity in Li Xijun's eyes, she knew he did not intend to humiliate her. Silently, she accepted it and whispered, "Thank you." With that, she soared into the sky, vanishing into the distant horizon. Li Xijun sighed and stepped into the courtyard, which remained in disarray. Li Ziming quietly fixed his attire. Li Xijun let out a bitter laugh and said, "You made a mess, yet I have to be the one to clean it up." Li Ziming said nothing. Hanging high in the courtyard was a painting. In it, Li Ziming wore a smile, yet his expression was cold and emotionless. His eyes were indifferent, as though lost in deep thoughts. Irritated by the sight of it, Li Ziming waved his hand, summoning the painting. He folded it and tucked it into his robe before waving his brother out. Turning back, he gathered the scattered paintings in the courtyard. Suddenly losing interest, he pulled out his alchemy furnace and returned to refining pills. Chapter 525, Mutuo I. The eastern sea spanned thousands of li, with jagged rocks jutting out across its vast expanse. Waves surged endlessly from the boundless east, one after another, crashing upon each other. The islands scattered across the horizon were linked, their landscapes vastly different from those inland. The brilliant morning sun began to rise from the edge of the sky, casting rays of light in all directions. It was Li Qinghong's first time venturing overseas, and she was deeply captivated by the sight. Unable to hold herself back, she asked, "Is this the end of the world, where immortals reside?" Kong Yu stroked his beard with a smile and replied, "If you travel eastward all the way to the edge of the eastern sea, you will reach the endless void abyss. There the seawater reverses and falls into the abyss, descending slower and slower until it becomes vapor, rising back up and returning to the sea." Taking a moment to recount the past, Kong Yu continued, "There is no air, no spiritual chi, nor the great void. That place is called outer heavens." In ancient times, cultivators and members of the demon race embarked on journeys to the outer heavens from the four seas, and none have ever returned. Li Yuanjiao nodded. He had heard about this from Li Xizhi before and now asked, "If that is the case, why would anyone go there?" Kong Yu sighed with a touch of sentiment. When a cultivator attains the golden core realm, they gain fruition attainment and can replace heaven's will with their own. Beyond that is the Tao embryo, but what lies beyond the Tao embryo? There is no path left to take. It is said that in the past it was impossible to leave. The four seas were bound by a heavenly barrier, but during the immortal devil war at Pingming Ford, the heavens lowered by 3 zhang and the earth rose by 9 kai. Since then, the four seas became unbound, and the practice of cultivation became unrestricted. It is said that those with Tao embryos sense that the true path lies in the outer heavens, so they journey there. Li Yuanjiao silently nodded, while Qinghong, who had been listening intently, spoke up. "So that is how the immortal sects view it. Our Buddhist sect holds a different perspective." He had an awkward look on his face and apologized first for what he was about to say. According to our scriptures, the battle at Pingming Ford is referred to as the karmic filth of past lives, marking the division between the previous and future incarnations of the Buddha. In the past, immortals and their laws ruled the world, with the Xia people reigning supreme. In the future life, the rise of Buddhism followed, as the Hu and Jai people replaced the Xia. Qinghong had spoken cautiously, yet the faces of the group still darkened. Kong Yu, however, seemed to reflect on it thoughtfully and remarked, "After the Battle of Pingming Ford, the Wei state was destroyed, and the states of Qi, Liang, Zhou, and Yan rose and fell all under the rule of the Hu and Jai people. Perhaps the Buddha's words were a prophecy of fate." Kong Yu gave a wry smile and murmured softly, 500 years ago, the southern immortal mansions still had dreams of reclaiming the northern lands. But after the fall of several immortal mansions, all that is left is infighting in their own small corners. The Buddha's words were not entirely wrong. Immortal law has collapsed, and what remains in the south are the paths of devils. The profound peak disciples behind them exchanged puzzled looks, and one of them asked, "Master's words do not make sense. We vanquish demons and eliminate evil, enjoying the freedom of the heavens and earth. How does that connect to devil paths?" Kong Yu's face was filled with bitterness. He tightened his grip on the wooden staff and glanced at Li Yuanjiao before sighing. "All of you are still young. You do not understand the ways of the world yet. It is not just about vanquishing demons and eliminating evil. Take one wrong step and you too will become a devil yourself. And as for the freedom you speak of, there is no such thing." The disciples, some thoughtful, others defiant, remained silent. Qinghong chanted a Buddhist prayer, his face filled with compassion, as if deeply resonating with the sentiment. Li Yuanjiao, observing Qinghong's demeanor, surmised that the profound peak gate had likely either been coerced or willingly participated in some unsavory deeds during the devil plague. He shook his head slightly and said in a gentle voice, "Your gate has done rather well under the circumstances." Kong Yu chuckled grimly and pointed ahead, changing the subject with a smile. Up ahead is Spleetered Island, the first landing point of the Eastern Sea. The Eastern Sea was divided into 5 major regions. Beyond Lake Xian lay the Crimson Reef Sea, a region full of jagged rocks and home to countless islands. Looking ahead, the group saw a huge island rising in the distance. This island was vast, covered with various pavilions and towers. Countless cultivators flew up and down, and in the distance, parts of the island were hidden within clouds and mist, its full extent unknown. Kong Yu smiled and said, "This place is called Spleetered Island. The fire veins here are astonishingly active, surpassing even the volcanic deserts. It is one of the great wonders of the Eastern Sea." The group was filled with awe, and the profound peak disciples bombarded Kong Yu with questions. The old man beamed with pride as he explained, "The island gets its name from immortal Yings of the Moonlight Origin Mansion. Legend has it that the immortal captured the lesser Yang devil monarch here, known as Quli. This devil monarch had attained the lesser Yang fruition attainment, becoming undying and indestructible. The immortal, unable to fully destroy him, forced him to reincarnate and start his cultivation anew. Using a white jade hairpin, the immortal divided him into 3 parts. One part was cast into a place known as Beiming, where it transformed into a woman known as the Empress Beiyao. Another part was thrown into the Great Western Plains, becoming the Devil Lord Xian. The last part sank to the bottom of the Eastern Sea, where it was claimed by the Dragon Clan, now known as the Dragon Monarch Xiong of the Eastern Sea. Li Yuanjiao, both astonished and unsettled by what he heard, silently reflected on the culture of the Eastern Sea. Such stories would never be spoken of so openly in the Azure Pond sect, yet here in the Eastern Sea they were freely shared. He could only ask, are all three of them Golden Core Realm cultivators? Kong Yu replied, it is known that Empress Beiyao and the Dragon Monarch are both Golden Core Realm cultivators, but the one in the Great Western Plains is merely a legend. If that is true, that means a single lesser Yang fruition attainment was split into 3 golden cores, and all 3 became Golden Core Realm cultivators. One of the profound peak disciples then asked in confusion, how is that possible? Kong Yu chuckled and answered, what does a brat like you possibly understand? Back in the day, the 9 offspring of the converging water hornless dragon were born from the dissolution of a single golden core into 9, each forming its own golden core. The mysteries of the golden core are far beyond the grasp of small cultivators like you. The group started chattering and discussing this. After a while, a female cultivator approached, radiating joy. She was dressed in a pale yellow-green feather robe and was riding on pink clouds. She first greeted Kong Yu as she cupped her fist, greetings, clan uncle. She then turned eagerly to Li Yuanjiao and said, Brother Jiao, you are here. What a coincidence. Come with me, let's rest over there. The group of young disciples followed Kong Yu and were led away for their training. Kong Tingyun glanced at Li Qinghong with surprise and admiration in her eyes. She then smiled and said, so this is Sister Qinghong. Your reputation precedes you. She exchanged a few friendly words, clearly taking a liking to Li Qinghong. The group landed at the profound Peak Gate station where Kong Tingyun said, would you like to rest for a bit, or head quickly to the marketplace out in the deeps? Situ Mo is treacherous and devious. If I stay away too long, something might happen. Li Yuanjiao and the others were just as eager to get moving, so they all agreed and flew off together. Li Yuanjiao, not wanting to miss a chance to gather more information, asked. When Senior shared the story of Splintered Island, he talked about Empress Beiyao and Dragon Monarch Xiong as if they appear often. Do the Golden Core Realm true monarchs often reveal themselves overseas? They do not appear all the time, but they do show up occasionally. Overseas, we can speak more freely. They are unlike the pristine water true monarch who has not dared to show his face for over a century, Kong Tingyun answered as they traveled. Kong Tingyun chuckled lightly and continued, he is totally shaking in his boots. The pristine water fruition attainment is no ordinary one. Many are keeping their eyes on him. Chapter 526, Mutuo II. Li Yuanjiao nodded thoughtfully, and his once terrifying impression of pristine water true monarch faded significantly. The invincible aura surrounding him seemed to diminish, and he remarked quietly, the Eastern Sea is truly a different world. As they flew, Kong Tingyun reminded them, there are few powers in the Eastern Sea that you cannot provoke, and I am sure you are aware of them, but I will still mention them again. After ascertaining that Li Yuanjiao was listening intently, Kong Tingyun began, the first is the Dragon Clan. In the 4 seas, the Eastern Sea's Dragon Clan is the most powerful, a top-tier force. The dragon species are also fiercely protective of their own. As long as it is a true dragon, you must not offend even a single one. Everyone nodded in understanding as Kong Tingyun continued. Next are the various demonic entities, sometimes called immortals, sometimes ghost officials or even strange, unnatural beings formed from combinations of metallic essences, fate, and ill omens. She shook her head and added, there is not much you can do when you encounter one. Even Purple Mansion Realm cultivators avoid some of them, while others might only make you sneeze. In the mainland, there are emissaries of death who monitor these things so you rarely see them, but overseas, it is a different story. The Eastern Sea is vast and boundless, hiding countless unknowns. She paused before continuing. As for the other factions, there has never been a day without bloodshed. In the end, it is all for their interests. Kong Tingyun waited for a moment before leading them to the water. After calculating the time, she said softly, the Eastern Sea is too vast. Just flying would take us forever. It is better to rely on the water veins, which not only save us mana but are also much faster. Li Qinghong glanced around and noticed several others nearby, warily watching each other as they waited. Kong Tingyun whispered, in just a few breaths, the water veins of the sea will surge. When the water rushes in, we will use the water command technique to ride the current to the Scarlet Pristine Sea, where my family's marketplace is located. Just as she finished speaking, the surrounding waters began to tremble and rush eastward. Large and small bubbles rose, and the ground beneath them shook violently as lightning flashed across the darkened sky. Li Yuanjiao, having traveled the Eastern Sea for over a year, was well versed in its ways. He calmly said, my immortal foundation is boundless ocean. Let me handle the water control. With that, a serpent dragon formed under his feet, coiling in the sea and transforming into a bluish-gray light ring that enveloped everyone, swiftly carrying them eastward with the surging current. Scarlet Pristine Sea, Golden Sack Island. There were several islands in the Scarlet Pristine Sea, and Golden Sack Island was a medium-sized one. The Golden Tang Gate had established a firm presence here, reinforcing it with great effort. Situ Mo, dressed in gold, sat sternly at the head of the hall, his face dark. Below him, a man kneeled on the ground, trembling as he reported, "My lord, the crab has come to demand another 1,000 people. He says he will return in 3 days." Situ Mo's expression grew darker, and he replied in a low voice, "I see." Although the Golden Tang Gate was an immortal gate, it still had to abide by the rules of the Eastern Sea. What was due had to be paid. The crab was merely at the Qi cultivation realm, but it had a serpent dragon backing it. As much as Situ Mo resented it, he had no choice but to swallow his anger. His foul mood was not just because of this. The records on the table also vexed him. As the sole direct descendant on this island, he had secretly obtained these sect records and had been reviewing the events from years ago. In the 6th lunar month, the Yu family joined the gate, and Wan Huaqian became famous in the prefecture for his formation techniques. The Yu family then ambushed and killed members of the Wan family, framing the Jai family. The Wan family retaliated by attacking Mount Hua, and the Xiao family sent a warning to the Yu family. Slaughter ensued, and the prefecture was besieged. Throughout the destruction of the Jai family, the real forces behind the scenes were the Yu and Xiao families, along with the broader power struggles between the Azure Pond and Golden Tang. In hindsight, it was clear that Li Tanya was merely a pawn in Xiao Shooting's larger scheme. Xiao Shooting manipulated the situation brilliantly, weakening both the Jiang and Yu families and almost subjugating the entire eastern shore, while propping up the Li family as a loyal supporter. Truly masterful. Situ Mo silently acknowledged the cunningness of Xiao Shooting, but knew that he lacked the strength to confront the Xiao family for now. He filed away his grudges, awaiting a day when he could settle the score. But Xiao Shooting is a formidable opponent. I must continue to feign ignorance for now, lest I end up caught in Man on Creek's schemes. As he pondered, he suddenly realized that there had been no news from Kong Tingyun for quite some time. This raised alarm bells in his mind. That woman is never quiet for long. Could she be scheming something? He quickly ordered, "Go fetch Master Monk Mutuo." Watching his subordinate leave, Situ Mo felt a chill of unease run down his spine. Not long ago, he had considered getting rid of her to reclaim control, but after probing her twice and suffering minor setbacks, he had to admit he had underestimated her. Damn it, it is easy to fool the idiots in the sect, but once outside, none of them are simple. Situ Mo silently fumed. Li Yuanjiao had been difficult enough, and even that monk seemed like no pushover. Kong Tingyun was sly, and even Li Xijun was quick-witted. Inside the Golden Tang Gate, he could fool his seniors and juniors, but outside he had suffered one setback after another. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became, cursing aloud. No wonder the Golden Tang Gate is declining. It is full of idiots. As he was in the middle of cursing, a burly, bald man barged into the hall, his face red with irritation. He growled, "What now?" Seeing him, Situ Mo's temper flared even more. He shouted, "You filthy monk, all you do is chase after skirts. Are you even keeping an eye on Kong Tingyun?" Mutuo shot him a sideways glance and muttered a mantra under his breath while retorting, "What do you know?" In the Great Zhao, as long as you are a monk, even princesses get on their knees and let you do what you want with them. But here in the south, at least they still know how to cry and run. Situ Mo's face darkened further, but he restrained his disgust. Then suddenly Mutuo's expression changed. He hesitated before asking tentatively, "She is not on the island." Situ Mo had anticipated this, and his face remained unchanged. Mutuo hastily resumed divining, his face paling as he poured more energy into his divination. After a while he finally muttered, "She is not in the Scarlet Pristine Sea." Situ Mo's face showed a slight shift, his mind racing. Several names flashed through his thoughts, and then a moment of realization struck him. He hesitated, then said, "I heard Spleetered Island was attacked by some kind of demon creatures recently, with many casualties, right?" Mutuo blinked, realization dawning on him. "You are saying Kong Tingyun went to pick up disciples from the sect?" Situ Mo nodded hesitantly. Mutuo quickly exclaimed, "This is a perfect opportunity. We may not be able to break through the island's great formation, but we could ambush her on the sea route. Let us both go. When we get close enough, I will do the divination again." Situ Mo immediately flew into action, rising into the air with Mutuo by his side. As they neared the coast, doubt crept into his mind. "That woman knows I have a Buddhist cultivator here. Why would she make such a mistake? Sect disciples. Does Profound Peak Gate not have other Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators to send? This is too convenient." Suddenly, a thought struck him and he almost shouted, "Quick, check where Li Yuanjiao is." Mutuo blinked in confusion. "Did we not agree we would not go after the Li family for another 10 years? Just do it." Situ Mo snapped. Mutuo's face twisted with frustration. "I am not even in the UA state. How am I supposed to do that now? We are already close to the sea route. Why not just focus on Kong Tingyun?" Situ Mo gritted his teeth but relented, fixing his gaze on the approaching water surge. He growled, fine, but first check if Li Yuanjiao is in the Eastern Sea. Start with him. Chapter 527, Suppression and Injury. That damned bastard. Mutuo spat, his frustration boiling over. Despite his anger, he could not overpower his opponent. He activated his golden light and performed a series of hand seals. The red glow on his face dimmed momentarily. After a while, he finally got a result and said impatiently, I can't deduce his whereabouts. How can he be in the Eastern Sea? His crimson face contorted in anger as drops of blood trickled from his nostrils. Wiping it away with his hand, he gritted his teeth. Your paranoia has cost me. You better make it up to me when we get back. However, Situ Mo had fallen into deep thought, ignoring him. A whirlwind of doubts filled his mind. How could this be possible? Could Kong Tingyun really have let her guard down? There are only 1 or 2 Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators left in the Profound Peak Gate. Logically, she should be able to escape safely. She must have more than 1 Foundation Establishment Realm cultivator aiding her. Mutuo called out to him 3 times before Situ Mo finally snapped back to reality. He murmured, Mutuo, this may be a trap. You and I should retreat 100 li for now and wait for an opportunity. It'll be safer to stay close to Golden Sack Island. If anything goes wrong, we can get away in time. Why, that's not far from Enshui Island. Kong Tingyun can escape easily. What are you thinking? Mutuo scolded in disbelief. Seeing the determination on Situ Mo's face, Mutuo had no choice but to express his frustration. All of you from the Southern Immortal Dao are damn cowards, so paranoid all the time. The Li family members rode the current all the way to the Scarlet Pristine Sea before coming to a gradual stop. They broke through the water's surface, and Li Yuanjiao deactivated his spell, gazing into the distance. The sea here had gradually turned pale turquoise, its seabed covered in deep red reefs rich in iron. From above, it appeared a vibrant tapestry of turquoise and red, earning it its name Scarlet Pristine Sea. Kong Tingyun admired the magnificent scenery before explaining, 2,000 years ago, this sea was known as Qinyi. Later, the 8th son of the converging water true hornless dragon was captured here. The dragon clan punished him for matricide by binding him to a deep cliff at the bottom of the sea. They built 9 cold iron pillars, nailed him to the cliff, dismembered him, and let the demons devour his remains. As a result, the sea turned turquoise overnight, and the demons within it gradually transformed, becoming what they are today. She smiled softly and continued, the true hornless dragon had 9 sons, 6 of converging and 3 of pristine. Now, only 2 remain in the world, the rest have perished. Kong Tingyun paused, then added softly, some say that the dragon clan did this to scatter the pristine water metallic essence throughout the Scarlet Pristine Sea, making it difficult to gather them. Li Yuanjiao pondered for a moment before asking, why doesn't the dragon clan simply keep it for themselves to create a golden core? Kong Tingyun stepped on a cloud and quietly replied, the true hornless dragon swallowed the pristine water feathered serpent and died. The enmity between them remains unresolved. To this day, dragons still devour feathered serpents, and the 8th son is one such feathered serpent. The Taoist master of my family speculated that perhaps the dragons fear that if they consume the pristine water metallic essence, they will soon grow feathers and turn into their enemy. She added, horrible. Qinghong murmured a Buddhist chant before continuing in a low voice. Feathered serpents and dragon species share the same origins. The only difference is that one is of pristine water and the other of converging water. It's truly a sin that they're killing each other like this. Li Yuanjiao looked thoughtful as he began to grasp the concept of the Golden Core. Golden Core Realm cultivators. Are they those who obtain metallic essence, or are they those who achieved fruition attainment? Kong Tingyun's voice interrupted his thoughts as she said seriously, I have something to trouble fellow Taoists with. Situ Mo is cunning, and he has a master monk from Xiao State as his assistant. I will be gone for several months. He will undoubtedly learn of this and likely ambush me on my way back. Please keep your distance and conceal your presence, she explained. Li Yuanjiao immediately caught on and smiled inwardly. So there's indeed a Buddhist cultivator supporting him. Realizing that the threat was only a Buddhist cultivator rather than a Purple Mansion Realm cultivator, Li Yuanjiao felt much more at ease. He immediately replied, I have a Dharma artifact that can conceal presence. Perhaps Qinghong and my younger sister should keep their distance while I stay beside you. At least it'll be easier for both of us to prevent them from escaping. All right, Kong Tingyun nodded approvingly. Li Yuanjiao activated the profound pattern bottle, and a mysterious spiritual mist enveloped his body. He flew forward with Kong Tingyun, leaving Qinghong and Li Qinghong behind. Qinghong felt slightly awkward being alone with her. He lowered his head and began chanting a Buddhist scripture, but Li Qinghong ignored him, her gaze fixed on the endless turquoise and red sea as a thought crossed her mind. It would be wonderful if father could see such magnificent scenery. Li Yuanjiao and Kong Tingyun rode the wind together. Kong Tingyun remained silent, but she sensed that Li Yuanjiao was close by, flying leisurely alongside her. As they journeyed deeper into the Scarlet Pristine Sea, doubts began to creep in. That guy is cautious. If fear the further we go, it'll be more difficult to defeat him. While she was lost in thought, several golden lights emerged from the reefs beneath them, and a golden streak suddenly shot up from the sea. Situ Mo broke through the water, squinting slightly as he fixed his gaze on Kong Tingyun. The sea was vast, its water veins flowing seamlessly, with no solid ground to plant formation flags or harness spiritual energy. Few formations could be established in such an environment, and even if Situ Mo possessed a treasure formation, he had yet to set it up. Kong Tingyun feigned surprise before sarcastically saying, "We are very close to the two islands right now. Do you think the guest cultivators on my island are all blind?" The sea was vast, and both of them were direct descendants of immortal gates. Naturally, they were unwilling to grant each other the opportunity to use escape spells. The fierce battle would likely only end with one of them dead, eliminating the need for a large formation. Nevertheless, Kong Tingyun was fearless, given their proximity to the two islands. Situ Mo stared at her for a moment, as if trying to discern something before saying, "Fellow Taoist, you're quite brave. I don't need to kill you, I only need to severely injure you." While Situ Mo distracted her with his words, he discreetly performed a series of hand seals. As he completed the 6 seals, he hooked his index fingers while keeping the other 3 fingers together, summoning a golden saber that came out from his palm. "It's that sp." Li Wushao recalled his past encounter with it, and silently put his hand on the hilt of his sword. Suddenly, the sea below them erupted once more, and a burly monk with a clean-shaven head and a red complexion soared out, brandishing a staff with both hands and preparing to strike at Kong Tingyun. Kong Tingyun remained calm, slapping her storage pouch. A golden mountain emerged, flying toward the monk to suppress him. The monk sneered fearlessly as he attempted to catch it with his hands. However, when Mutuo's hands made contact with the golden mountain, his tongue unexpectedly went numb, and only 4 of his facial features remained. His lips had vanished, leaving a smooth space below his philtrum. Horror washed over him as Kong Tingyun sneered coldly. "This golden mountain has been waiting for you, monk." With that, she produced another jade pearl that shone brightly, directing its light at the golden saber. Situ Mo's spell suddenly faltered as his golden saber hummed and vibrated uncontrollably like a dragonfly that had its tail pinched. Kong Tingyun remarked casually, "I would love to see how you plan to seriously injure me." Chapter 528, Suppression and Injury II. This was the first time Situ Mo confronted her head-on, and he felt an impending headache. "I've heard that the profound peak gate is filled with iron turtles. It seems like it's true, they excel at defense. Kong Tingyun holds an extraordinary status, and her Dharma artifacts are more powerful than others. This will be a tough battle." Sure enough, Kong Tingyun swung her sleeves, unleashing a pair of black hooks that flew toward him like crescent moons, circling and dancing as they hissed with turquoise smoke. Situ Mo glanced at the hooks and recognized them as ordinary Dharma artifacts. He summoned 3 golden shields and easily blocked the attack. Meanwhile, the golden saber spell on the other side broke through the protective barrier of the jade pearl, its speed increasing as it darted forward. Kong Tingyun appeared to be in danger, yet she showed no fear, which secretly shocked Situ Mo at that moment. 2 streams of light appeared in the distance, one purple and one brown. Situ Mo's expression shifted, and golden light flared beneath his feet. However, a chill suddenly crept down his spine. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, he detected a green-white sword light approaching. Li Wushao, they've really joined forces. He broke out in a cold sweat, unable to determine how Li Wushao had managed to evade the Buddhist cultivator's detection. With the golden shield resisting Kong Tingyun's Dharma artifact, he had no choice but to quickly perform a hand seal and cast a spell, darting out of the impending attack's way, albeit narrowly. Kingchi's sword light sliced through the air, grazing his feathered robe instead of his neck and producing a piercing sound of mana being consumed. Situ Mo's face paled as he coughed up a smooth, round red pill. The pill spun in the air before dissolving into smoke. Not this trick again. It must be some sort of displacement technique, specifically designed to counter sword and mana light. Just as Situ Mo evaded the attack, he shouted hastily, "Retreat quickly." Li Wunshao's sword did not wait for him. It split into 3 sword lights as it turned back, attacking him from above, the middle, and below. Situ Mo, having suffered a setback earlier, was well prepared. Demonstrating the confidence of an immortal sect disciple, he threw out 3 talismans with a flick of his hand, each bouncing off into 3 white circles to intercept the sword lights one by one. Clearly, Situ Mo had come prepared. The white circles released by these 3 Foundation Establishment Realm talismans were smooth and agile. Though their strength was not great, they were designed to effectively counter threefold moonlight. With this delay, Li Qinghong and Qingheng finally arrived on the scene. Although Situ Mo did not recognize the heroic-looking female cultivator, he identified Qingheng and guessed that she was Li Qinghong. The purple light in her eyes and the purple lightning dancing across her jade armor caught his attention. Situ Mo barely had time to retreat before Li Qinghong parted her vermilion lips slightly and released a speck of purple light that almost instantly swelled to the size of a fist, glowing with a brilliant white light. A sense of numbness washed over Situ Mo as he realized the power of the impending attack. He quickly deactivated his 3 golden shields, ignoring the double hooks that Kong Tingyun had launched. He also swiftly withdrew the golden saber and disengaged with her. Kong Tingyun hurriedly urged the jade pearl to give chase. The monk below watched on in shock and terror, bewildered by how Li Yuanjiao managed to evade his calculation. Unable to voice his confusion, he could only muster his strength to try and push the golden mountain off of him. Kong Tingyun had to lower her head and look at the situation below her as she retrieved a golden talisman from her sleeve. With a simple flick of her fingers, she sent it flying toward the golden mountain. Mutuo was unfortunate. Despite having an arsenal of spells and techniques, he had been suppressed by the golden mountain from the start. Crafted from an unknown material, the mountain had slowed him down, also causing his lips and teeth to disappear. Just as he finally managed to push it up a little, Kong Tingyun's talisman landed on the mountain. The talisman shimmered with golden light, its yellow-brown surface adorned with vermilion characters in one large line that read 10065800000 Jin. Mutuo felt a powerful force emanating from his hand. He had only time to let out a mournful cry as the light turquoise waters around him parted. The golden mountain fell, rumbling ominously, causing the waves to surge to heights of 100 kai before slowly settling down again. Boom! The spectacle in the sky was equally breathtaking. A white light erupted from above, accompanied by the roar of thunder that was like a landslide. The white lightning transformed into dense purple bolts that cascaded down like a waterfall, suppressing all that was below. Situ Mo's golden shields were on their way back to assist him, but they were intercepted by Li Yuanjiao's swift sword. To his dismay, his golden saber was also stalled by Qingheng's spell. A golden light silently bloomed on his chest. Rumble. Amidst the raging thunder, Situ Mo was propelled backward, enveloped in golden light and dust, leaving only a thin layer of golden shield around him, almost resembling an eggshell. Riding the wind, he noticed 5 or 6 streams of light approaching from the 2 islands, preparing for confrontation. Situ Mo's golden shield did not reach him in time, so he was struck by the thunder spell. His feathered robe was scorched gray, and his chest was bloody. Several Foundation Establishment realm cultivators behind him caught him. Gasping, he commanded, "Let's go." Situ Mo silently thanked himself for being cautious, though he feared that more people would soon emerge from the market and annihilate his group. He did not dare linger and hurriedly retreated, enveloped in golden light. His companions quickly followed suit without hesitation, fearful of being pursued. The guest cultivators of Profound Peak Gate approached to greet Kong Tingyun. Good, good. He wasted his life-saving trump card and is quite seriously injured. This trip wasn't in vain. She remarked with a smile. She glanced at Li Qinghong, who appeared slightly pale, and praised, "I didn't expect you to possess such a powerful thunder spell. Truly impressive." Although the profound thunder had been condensed in advance in the thunder pool, it was still a draining spell for Li Qinghong to cast. She smiled modestly and replied softly, "It's nothing compared to fellow Taoists' Golden Mountain." Situ Mo was a direct disciple highly valued by the Golden Tang Gate, making it unlikely to kill him so easily in one fell swoop. With the right combination of timing and circumstances, this encounter was enough to prevent him from making any progress for many years to come. Li Yuanjiao nodded approvingly but was more concerned about the monk and asked, "What about the monk?" Kong Tingyun replied with a shrug, "He is no better off than Situ." The group dove deeper, navigating through the pale turquoise waters until they discovered the golden mountain resting on the seabed. Kong Tingyun stowed away the Dharma artifact and examined the bloody remnants with care. After casting a few spells, she glanced at Qingheng with some uncertainty. Qingheng understood her concern. He stepped forward, closed his eyes to sense the surroundings, and said in a deep voice, "He went back to the north." Kong Tingyun sighed regretfully. It's a pity he was in the sea, not on land. He touched the earth vein too late and managed to escape. He had indeed escaped, but his body is ruined. He may have a backup at a temple in the north, perhaps another monk's body to take over, but his cultivation has pretty much been devastated. He won't be able to compare to Situ Mo any longer. It will take him at least decades to recover. Buddhist cultivators were notoriously difficult to kill, and Kong Tingyun never truly believed she could eliminate him. She extended her slender hand, summoning the Golden Mountain. With a hint of resentment, she said, "The ancestor entrusted me with this Dharma artifact and talisman specifically to deal with these cultivators from Xiao State. He's just the first. Sooner or later, they will be driven back to their original forms, one by one." Li Yuanjiao breathed a sigh of relief, feeling his spirits lifting as he said, "Good, good. With this monk gone, we no longer need to worry about the enemy lurking in the shadows while we're out in the open. The threat from Situ Mo is significantly reduced." Qingheng, who had contributed little throughout the encounter, looked guilty. He rubbed his bald head nervously, silently glancing at the others. Chapter 529, Zongquan Island, I. Although Situ Mo had only sustained injuries, the fortunate news was that the monk could no longer stir up trouble. Li Yuanjiao declined Kong Tingyun's invitation. The group did not linger on Yuzhu Island. They headed straight north across the scarlet pristine sea. Kong Tingyun escorted them all the way out of her territory before returning on the clouds. In high spirits, she hummed a few tunes. When she saw her subordinates approaching respectfully, she quickly recomposed herself. It seemed like Mutuo had failed to deduce brother Zhao's strength. The Li family is certainly impressive. Did Xiao shooting secretly involve himself in this, or was it another Purple Mansion realm cultivator behind this? Li Yunjiao's fate remains a mystery. I wonder if he's like Liu Changdi and Tu Longjian. In any case, Kong Tingyun had made a good move. Not only had she suppressed the enemy, but she had also solidified her relationship with the Li family, killing two birds with one stone. Riding the wind back to Yuzhu Island, she was looking forward to a good night's sleep. Meanwhile, the Li family flew toward their destination. Li Qinghong appeared relaxed, but Li Yunjiao's expression darkened as they left the Kong family's territory. His brows knitted together in suspicion. Noticing her brother's unease, Li Qinghong whispered, "What's wrong, brother?" Li Yuanjiao tightened his grip on his sword and replied in a deep voice, "Something's off about Kong Tingyun's strength. When I ambushed the hooked serpent with her in Lake Xian, she was far less powerful than she is today. If she had such strength then, a mere demon like the hooked serpent, even at the mid-stage of Foundation establishment realm, wouldn't have stood a chance against her golden mountain. Why would she require my assistance and share the spoils?" Li Qinghong considered this for a moment before nodding in agreement. "I'm thinking that it might be the effect of that talisman. She uses it without any hesitation, so it's clearly not a rare item for her. Her identity may be more significant than we realize." Li Yunjiao ran his fingers along his sword, murmuring, "Indeed, I believe Taoist Master Changxi is trying to show goodwill. Kong Tingyun may be his junior, but she was quite generous in lending the formation against the hooked serpent, only coming to take it back after 2 years. I thought it was just a coincidence at the time, but now there's finally an explanation. It's not necessarily a bad thing after all," Li Qinghong commented. Whether Taoist Master Changxi was showing goodwill toward Xiao shooting or toward himself, there was no malice present, and the Li family could only accept it silently. It's confirmed that as long as one possesses the immortal mirror, they can not only break their fate, but also thwart divine abilities and investigations. I wonder how high its inherent rank is. Li Yuanjiao reflected, then glanced at his younger sister, who was also deep in thought, evidently considering the same matters. Kung Heng hung his head in silence the entire time. After flying over the sea for a while, Li Yunjiao took out the sea chart to study it carefully. The largest island in the eastern sea was as vast as Yue State. There were also numerous gates and powerful demons in Yinzhu in the east. The Li family did not plan to venture there. Instead, they aimed to find a remote island to the south. Li Yuanjiao surveyed the area for a moment before summoning an embryonic breathing realm fish demon with his immortal foundation. As it gurgled and released bubbles, he turned back to the group and said, "There's a water vein flowing south not far from here. We can take that route." The group followed the water vein and after 3 days broke through the surface of the sea, reaching the southernmost end of the Scarlet Pristine Sea, where it connected to the coast of the great Ziyuqi Temple. The sky was overcast, and distant thunder rumbled ominously. Li Yunjiao looked up to see the mountain gate of the great Ziyuqi Temple to the west, which was shrouded in black rain, with faint thunder-like sounds echoing in the air. Someone is either breaking through to the Purple Mansion realm, or a Purple Mansion realm cultivator has perished. He remarked, "Junner is at home. If someone truly breaks through the Purple Mansion realm, he will send someone to offer congratulatory gifts. There's no need to worry," Li Qinghong replied. It was the first time the group had witnessed such a vast celestial phenomenon, visible even across the eastern sea. Li Yunjiao stared at it for a bit longer before returning his attention to the sea chart in his hand. After a long pause, he said, "In this area, we're far away from the disputed seas at the corner of the Scarlet Pristine Sea. While it may be distant, it's safe due to the sparse population." After discussing for a while, the group dispersed to search for suitable islands to settle on. Li Yunjiao headed straight south, scanning the surroundings. He found several small islands. The largest was only the size of a town, while the smallest measured about 10 li in radius. Though the earth vein could be activated to expand the island gradually, there were no experts like those in the profound peak gate, and bringing someone over would be quite troublesome. As a result, Li Yunjiao felt little inclination to pursue that option. After flying for a considerable distance, a small island soon came into view. It appeared relatively flat and was covered by only a mid-stage Qi cultivation realm formation. Estimating that the island was about half the size of the Li family's estate, he landed on it and knocked on the ground tentatively. Zhang Yan rode the wind and toured the island before returning to the hall where his subordinates brought forth a boy. "Island Master, this is the boy born on the night of Qiyun, as recorded on the island," they said respectfully. Zhang Yan lifted the boy's clothes to confirm that he indeed had a belly button. He then took out 2 vials of blood qi from his storage pouch and said kindly, "You will live in the side hall from now on. Make sure you remember to take this medicine every 3 days. Do not forget about it." The boy nodded obediently, and Zhang Yan dismissed him. Visibly relaxed, he smiled as he remarked, "Fortunately, I've registered every single one of them back then. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how long it would take me to search for them on such short notice." "My lord is wise," his subordinates replied, cupping his fist. "After dealing with that bluefish, the rest will be much easier to handle," he added. Zhang Yan nodded repeatedly, but was suddenly interrupted by a man scrambling into the hall. His eyes were red and choked with emotion as he wailed, my lord, there is another Foundation establishment realm cultivator outside. He looks sinister. Something bad is going to happen." Zhang Yan's face turned pale instantly and he staggered backward. After a moment, he stepped forward muttering, "Why is another one here? This is bad. I wonder how many people this one will take." Pale and anxious, he hurried out to meet the newcomer. He deactivated the formation and looked up, spotting a figure hovering in the air. The man indeed looked rather sinister, with gray eyes under eyebrows that were too close together. His eyes were slightly narrowed, resembling those of a serpent dragon. His black robe fluttered in the wind, and a tightly wrapped sword hung at his waist, concealing its shape. Zhang Yan steeled himself and stepped forward, bowing as deeply as he could as he said humbly, "Zhang Yan greets the exalted immortal. We are quite terrified that you have come to our island." Li Wushao glanced at him, noting that the man was only at the 7th heavenly layer of the qi cultivation realm. The mortals on the island looked up at him, and he estimated that there were over 5,000 people present, which satisfied him greatly. It is truly troublesome to move mortals here. There aren't many places to settle in this vast ocean. 5,000 people here is just right. Zhang Yan felt relieved to see that he was in good spirits, but when Li Wushao observed the gathered mortals, Zhang Yan grew nervous again. He seems like one that cultivates the immortal Foundation realm. He has no injuries and doesn't seem to be looking for people. Hopefully, he won't demand for too many. As Li Wushao landed on the island's peak, all the mortals paused in their activities, looking up with concern. Zhang Yan spoke tentatively, "My lord, this is Zongquan Island, and I serve Dingyuan the Dragon Son under the jurisdiction of Water Mansion. Every island in the Eastern Sea was required to pay tribute to the demon clans. Having heard of these rules, Li Wushao asked casually, how much tribute does this Dragon Son demand at a time?" Zhang Yan replied, puzzled, 300 mortals or 3 medicine humans. Li Wushao frowned and asked, "He wants only humans." Chapter 530, Zongquan Island, II. Zhang Yan was taken aback and suddenly realized, could this person be from the mainland? It seems he has only ventured overseas a few times and is unaware of the situation here. With this thought, Zhang Yan's eyes grew eager and he quickly explained, "Senior, you may not know this, but there are no minerals and spirit plants on my island. Everything below the sea surface belongs to the demon clan, and we aren't allowed to touch it. The only thing we can offer is our population." He continued, "Not just my small island. Even those guarded by Foundation Establishment Realm and the Purple Mansion Realm cultivators must pay both tributes in the form of humans and treasures to the Dragon Clan. The difference is merely in the quantity." Li Wushao, arriving in this remote place, had not considered exploiting any ore veins or treasures. He simply nodded, feeling embarrassed and silent. Zhang Yan interpreted his silence as a sign he had said something wrong, and a sense of dread washed over him. The mainland seems to differentiate between immortals and devils. Aren't there ancient cultivators, too? What are they called again? Yue cultivating, or was it subjects of Wanyu? His doubt, combined with the aura radiating from Li Wushao, caused Zhang Yan to lose his composure. He kneeled down in fear, his voice trembling as he pleaded, "Exalted immortal, spare me. We are forced into this, and we never intended to do so." Li Wushao merely glanced at him. This man was not a disciple of the immortal sect or gate, and the murky qi surrounding him was impossible to hide. Nonetheless, he held no expectations for overseas cultivators and responded in a deep, measured voice, "You have no choice but to pay tribute to the Dragon Clan. However, I can see your true essence is vigorous and powerful, indicating you have consumed blood and resentment qi. What more can you say?" Zhang Yan paused for a moment, stunned, then pressed his forehead to the ground and humbly replied, "My elders also came from the orthodox path. I understand, but..." He paused, raised his head, and looked at the people behind Li Wushao before continuing sadly, "If I consume blood qi, I will deviate from the orthodox path forever. But if I stop taking it, I won't be able to protect them. There are many demons in the sea. Zhang Yan has been doing his best." Li Wushao regarded him thoughtfully and said softly, "There is no orthodox path in these times. Get up." Zhang Yan responded respectfully and stood by his side. Li Wushao then looked up at the kneeling crowd. 1 or 2 children timidly raised their heads, their eyes filled with fear. Li Wushao reflected, "It is inevitable to pay tribute to the Dragon Son on this island. If we want to establish a foothold in the Eastern Sea, we must first appease the Dragon Clan. But what should I do?" The laws of his own clan were strict regarding this matter, and the immortal mirror in his arms still emitted a slight chill, sending a cold shiver through his heart. The supreme yin profound light had not failed him so far, and this was no laughing matter. I'll call Qinghong over first. Li Yuanjiao launched a talisman high into the sky that glowed faintly. Zhang Yan flinched at the sight. Turning to Zhang Yan, Li Yuanjiao asked, "Do you have any family or offspring?" Zhang Yan, having already surmised much, remembered hearing about mainland cultivators settling overseas. However, it was rare to encounter them in his remote location. Noticing that Li Yuanjiao was not as fierce as he first appeared and seemed to have some principles, he felt a surge of relief and quickly replied, "I am a son of Diang, I cannot bear children." A son of Diang, Li Yuanjiao frowned. Zhang Yan grew more confident in his assessment and explained respectfully, "The Scarlet Pristine Sea extends eastward, crossing the Qinyi Gorge. There's an island called Shiki where a state named Diang exists. The springs in Diang are known as nurturing springs. As long as you throw spirit items into them, babies will emerge." He lifted the hem of his robe, revealing a smooth abdomen devoid of a belly button. These babies are known as sons of Diang, born without belly buttons and infertile. Their flesh tastes bland like water, and as long as the spirit item thrown is precious enough, they are likely to possess a spiritual orifice. He chuckled, adding, "Cultivating the Tao is challenging, and many cultivators end up without descendants. Unable to produce heirs, many go there for the sake of continuing their lineage. My father was one of them. He passed away many years ago, and I now manage this island." Li Yuanjiao found this information eye-opening. He regarded Zhang Yan silently, who then lowered his head and said, "But people like me are not destined for greatness. Qi cultivation realm is the furthest I can reach. If I cultivate the Tao, I can't establish an immortal foundation. If I cultivate Buddhism, I can't obtain the Dharma. If I cultivate the Devil Tao, I can't establish my own mansion. If I cultivate spells, I can't create talismans." After hearing this, Li Yuanjiao found these limitations to be reasonable. Nevertheless, he was still amazed. "This world is indeed a place of great wonder," he said quietly. On Mount Qingdu, Li Xijun sat in the courtyard, dressed in a white robe with Hanlin resting on his knees. The thin sword gleamed coldly in the light as he wiped it meticulously with a piece of white silk cloth. Despite his focus, he was actually polishing the blade absent-mindedly until it shone brightly. On the table before him lay a jade bottle containing the essence-gathering pill. Li Ziming had reluctantly handed him the pill before retreating into seclusion to meditate in preparation for establishing his foundation, leaving Li Xijun in charge of the household. Since the foundation establishment realm cultivators were away, he now held the highest authority among those present. While he continued to wipe the sword absent-mindedly, an old man in plain clothes approached. The man was at the 9th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm. He cupped his fist and bent down slightly, preparing to kneel. Li Xijun quickly urged him to rise and said politely, "What are you doing, clan elder? I can't possibly accept such a gesture from a senior." The old man was Chen Dong, one of the most senior members of their family. As Li Xijun moved to assist him, Chen Dong straightened up and said softly, "I received news that Taoist Hufu of the great Ziyuqi temple has broken through to the Purple Mansion realm and attained mastery of a divine ability. The family head wants me to deliver a gift, so I came up to the mountain to retrieve it." Li Xijun was just thinking about this matter. Since the great Ziyuqi temple had no connections with his family, there was no need to send an expensive gift. However, he had heard that Taoist Hufu cared about nothing else except for his image. He feared that choosing the wrong gift could lead to offense and was troubled. Now that Chen Dong was here, he decided to ask for his counsel. "What kind of gift do you think we should prepare, elder?" he asked. Chen Dong pondered for a moment before responding hoarsely, "Our family gifted Taoist master shooting a treasured panacea, so this time we cannot offer anything less than that. In my humble opinion, a Dharma artifact of peak Qi cultivation realm should suffice. Taoist Master Hufu is well off and probably doesn't need any lavish gifts from our family, but since he is young and is rumored to care a lot about his reputation, we should send our oldest family head along with 6 Qi cultivation realm cultivators to present the gift. Showing enough respect with our gesture is most important. The gift itself is not as important," he explained. After a moment of consideration, Li Xijun remarked, "This matter has spread too widely. It almost seems like someone is deliberately pushing it, or it's related to Hufu's divine ability. Our family should give him the respect he deserves, but we must be cautious." After another moment of consideration, he decided, "Let's visit the Xiao family first since they will also be going to congratulate him. If our family goes with them, there's nothing we have to worry about." Chapter 531, Huiao I. Li Yuanjiao stood with his hands behind his back, listening as Zhang Yan introduced the island to him. There are more than 5,000 people on the island, and most are fishermen. The island also cultivates rice and fruit, but the fields are sparse, so women and children handle most of the work. There are many demons in the area, some of whom are the Dragon Sun's lackeys. They tend to be greedy, so when some of our people don't return from venturing out to sea, we know they've been eaten. After observing Zongquan Island for a while, purple and golden lights streaked in from the east and west. Zhang Yan quickly opened the formation, and Li Qinghong and Qingheng landed one after the other. Li Qinghong surveyed the surroundings and commented, "There are several islands to the east, but none are as good as this one. It's a pretty good size, but the spiritual energy is weak." Li Yuanjiao nodded in agreement, while Qingheng clasped his hands together and spoke in a measured tone. I traveled westward. The sea was vast, but without a suitable place to establish ourselves. After hearing their conversation, realization struck Zhang Yan and he felt a surge of excitement. So these cultivators of orthodox Tao from the mainland are looking for a place to settle. Wonderful. They appear to be disciples of the immortal sect. Zongquan Island's time has finally come. Li Wushao and Li Qinghong exchanged glances and came to a decision. Noticing her brother's stern expression, which made him appear fierce, Li Qinghong turned to Zhang Yan, who seemed delighted. "Fellow Taoist, as you can see, we intend to establish a base at sea. Zongquan Island is quite suitable for us. We would like to investigate further and discuss this matter in detail with you." Since Li Yuanjiao intended to take on the role of a villain, Li Qinghong stepped in to chair the negotiation. Although she spoke politely and expressed her intention to discuss the matter in detail, Zhang Yan understood that there was little room for negotiation due to the stark disparity between their strengths. It all came down to whether this group would ultimately decide to take over this island. Zhang Yan timidly agreed before Li Qinghong requested, "Well then, fellow Taoist, please accompany Qingheng and the other guest cultivators to survey the earth vein and assess the spiritual energy." Qingheng excused himself and went off with the rest, leaving Li Yuanjiao standing alongside his younger sister. He voiced his concerns and Li Qinghong contemplated for a moment before replying, "From what I've observed along the way, the Eastern Sea Dragon clan treats the islands as fields and the people as livestock, much like raising pigs and cattle in a pen. Even the Golden Tang Gate and the Profound Peak Gate have to pay their tributes. It will be nearly impossible for us to avoid that." "That's true," Li Yuanjiao agreed, lowering his gaze before saying, "I wonder if I could meet the Dragon's son or find a way to negotiate the matter. Perhaps use other resources to pay. Regardless, I need to try." Li Qinghong shook her head and said softly, "It'll likely be very difficult for you to meet the Dragon's son. Although he is only at the Foundation establishment realm, he is a noble dragon. I can't even imagine how many demon generals he commands. Even if we manage to meet him, we can't predict what kind of payment he might demand. It would be better to start with the lesser demons and bribe them with a generous sum, which may ultimately cost less." The two of them rode the wind through the dark night, sinking into the sea without even realizing it. Under the night sky, the scarlet pristine sea sparkled with countless tiny green lights. The mana lights deep in the sea flickered like stars, creating a breathtaking sight in the darkness. The golden magnificence of the demon palaces could be seen from the distance. Li Yuanjiao nodded slightly and remarked, "Only after leaving the Eastern Sea did I realize how small the mainland is and how powerful the demons are. The strength of the Eastern Sea demon clan alone can rival that of Jiangnan. It's even rarer to see such a unified command. They are deeply rooted and work together." Sighing, Li Yuanjiao turned back to glance at Zongquan Island, while Li Qinghong said softly, "This island has no fire veins or earth veins. It offers little benefit other than a few sources of incense. The important thing is to establish a foothold overseas. Our family is gradually stabilizing as a prominent clan. We should consider reaching the Purple Mansion. Without the right cultivation techniques and opportunities, it's all just empty talk," Li Yuanjiao replied, shaking his head before continuing, "In my opinion, our family can only improve significantly by obtaining what Yu Muxian possesses. Given Yu Muxian's status, it was impossible for him to die on the mainland. If the Li family wished to plot against him, their only option was to ambush him in the Eastern Sea with the help of the mirror, in a way that they could avoid Taoist Master Yuanwu's retaliation. This was also a troublesome matter." Li Yuanjiao added, "Once the island matters are settled, you should return home first. I will stay here to guard, cultivate in seclusion, and try my luck to break through to the middle stage of the Foundation establishment realm. Meanwhile, send people to the major markets to gather all available information about the Purple Mansion realm cultivators and their immortal foundations. These are classified information on the mainland, but there might still be opportunities to uncover them overseas," he said. "All right," Li Qinghong replied. Thunder Immortal Foundation was not highly coveted in Jiangnan, making it more suitable for her to remain on Qingdu. The siblings discussed for a while longer before landing back on the island. Qingheng approached them and reported politely, "There are 3 relatively strong earth veins on the island, but the others are weak with shallow spiritual energy. It's impossible to establish a Foundation establishment realm formation. At most, it can only support one that is at the peak of the qi cultivation." After hearing this, Li Yuanjiao turned to Zhang Yan and asked, When will the Dragon Sun's subordinates arrive? In the next few days, Zhang Yan replied quickly. At that moment, a cheer suddenly erupted on the island. A man arrived on the wind and whispered something into Zhang Yan's ear. Li Wushao cast a neutral glance at him, and Zhang Yan immediately caught on. He bowed and said, "My lord, I practice the Xizhi all-in-one technique on my island. I follow the Purple Mansion Golden Core Dao but wield the shamanic spells and talismans. There are many Dao paths to raise medicine humans. All this was granted by the Dragon Sun for the sake of raising them, and we just found a baby born on the required day," he added. Zhang Yan spoke vaguely, wary of offending the others. He lowered his voice and continued, "Each time the tributes are collected, the Dragon Sun keeps the one with a specific birthday for the next collection. If no suitable person is found, he will use 100 others to offset it. So, each time a suitable child is discovered, it's hard for us to contain our excitement." Before Yuanjiao and Li Qinghong could respond, Qingheng could no longer restrain himself. He said in a sudden outburst of emotion, "Don't you have an ounce of compassion? Even if you're sacrificing one to save many, you shouldn't be so proud of it. Are you going to thank the evil dragon next year if it eats one less person next year?" Zhang Yan dropped to his knees, horrified. "Master Monk, you can't say that. If it weren't for the Dragon Sun's protection, we would have been killed by passing devil cultivators or devoured by the demon generals. How can we not be grateful?" Qingheng was taken aback. He stared at Zhang Yan in disbelief for a few breaths before exclaiming, "So you're saying that a minor crime isn't a crime?" Zhang Yan was confused by the monk's reaction. He raised his head in fear and mumbled, "But Lord Dragon Sun saved us from a greater evil. Everyone knows we should choose the lesser of two evils. Why do you want to beat him down for it? But he clearly eats people. How can you still be grateful toward him?" "That's enough," Li Qinghong interjected, trying to mediate. The perspectives of Qingheng and Zhang Yan were so different that they would probably continue to argue until dawn without an outcome. Zhang Yan responded timidly, while Qingheng let out a long sigh before apologizing and appeared lost in thought. Chapter 532, Huiao. The two men left and Li Wushao stood with his hands behind his back, somewhat absent-minded before slowly closing his eyes. Li Qinghong looked back and Li Wushao murmured, "There is a demon outside." The two of them rode the wind out and soon spotted a green fish hovering in the air. A pair of scaly wings grew from beneath its ribs, making it look particularly strange. Li Wushao rode forward to meet it. The fish's large eyes locked onto the two cultivators, its mouth opening and closing as it spoke in a clear voice. "Where do you come from, fellow Taoists? This is the territory of my Zhunan Serpent Dragon Palace." This fish demon was at the 9th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm and had not yet achieved the foundation establishment. Both members of the Li family were foundation establishment cultivators and were much stronger than it was. The fish demon was quite polite, yet spoke to them as equals in conversation. Li Qinghong spoke respectfully. "My brother and I were originally cultivators from a minor sect at Lake Xian. After our sect collapsed, we passed through here and considered settling down here. However, we are unfamiliar with this place and hope you can offer us some advice, fellow Taoist." "You are too polite, fellow Taoist," the fish demon replied, folding its wings and stepping onto the demonic wind. Its fish lip curled up slightly as its scales flipped in the wind and dripped with mucus. With a cryptic expression, it continued, "I am from the Hui clan in the algae, patrolling the sea for the Serpent Dragon Palace. My name is Huiao. If the two Taoists are willing to serve my Serpent Dragon Palace, I will naturally share everything I know." The fish then retracted its tail and transformed into a half-man, half-fish figure, looking rather sinister and ugly. It wielded a fork and stared at the two of them. In this situation, the status of the cultivators from the mainland and the overseas demons was reversed. Li Wushao and the others were now asking for favors, like Luke and the deer demon from the past. Nevertheless, Li Wushao was not one to blow his own horn. Despite the fish demon's grotesque visage, he smiled and said in a deep voice, "This way please, fellow Taoist." As soon as they descended together, Zhang Yan approached and bowed, "Greetings, Grandpa Sea Patrol. I have prepared the tributes." Huiao chuckled and happily replied, "Hee, good for you. After enduring for so many years, you're finally in charge of this place." "Why yes." Zhang Yan nodded, flattered, and signaled for his men to fetch the tributes. They entered the hall and the servants quickly served them tea. Zhang Yan kneeled beside Huiao and presented a jade bottle filled with red blood. Huiao waved his hands, scolding, "You blind. We have a distinguished guest today. It is inappropriate to drink this." Realization struck Zhang Yan as he retracted the bottle respectfully. Li Wunshao's expression remained unchanged, while Li Qinghong's smile grew more pronounced. Huiao continued, "My subordinate has embarrassed himself. Please forgive him, both of you." Huiao was not foolish. The faces of these two were filled with pure qi, suggesting they were mainland cultivators or disciples of some ancient sect. However, its own strength was currently inferior, and it was not foolish enough to offend these cultivators. If the two of them truly killed him and escaped, the Dragon Sun might not necessarily chase them down. After exchanging a few words with Huiao, Li Yunjiao cut to the chase. What is the expected tribute for Zongquan Island? Huiao regarded him calmly and replied, this place is barren, the dragon's son has never bothered us. It has been given to my clan, so the tributes are for me. The siblings exchanged glances, realizing that Huiao had the upper hand in the negotiation now. Li Yunjiao felt a headache coming on, but the fish demon continued, are you cultivating pit water, fellow Taoist? Can you show me your ability? Li Yunjiao nodded slightly, summoning a grayish-blue serpent dragon that rose gracefully in the courtyard before them. Huiao glanced at it, nodded, and said, I see, it's the Jing Dragon King. No wonder I felt a sense of familiarity the moment I saw you, fellow Taoist. The Dragon Son also practices this method, the Jing Dragon King. Huiao pondered for a moment before speaking seriously. Since you would like to establish your base here, this arrangement is beneficial for both of us. I won't make it hard for your esteemed clan. It stretched out its fish-like hand and casually continued, 1 medicine human each year, 10 embryonic breathing realm spirit items, and 2 chi cultivation realm spirit items. Ores are acceptable too. As for the passing demons that seek bribes, that's for you two to handle. The demon did not have much use for spirit stones, so most of its demands centered around spirit items and humans. This requirement was significantly greater than Zhang Yan's original demand of 300 people over 5 years. Huiao said that it would not make things difficult for them, but his demands were far from reasonable. Before either of them could respond, Huiao stated directly, by the rules of my Serpent Dragon Palace, no matter where you come from, you must obey the Dragon Clan's orders when you enter our territory. Huiao's statement was no different than a reminder for Li Yunjiao and Li Qinghong to drop their arrogance. The words were harsh, and Zhang Yan began to sweat nervously, fearing the siblings might lose their composure from this provocation. He dropped to his knees, grasping Huiao's fish-like leg, and cried, Grandpa Sea Patrol, it's my fault for not gathering news properly. Please consider the many years of hard work I've put in and spare me. Huiao pursed its lips and kicked him away. However, Li Yunjiao remained calm and replied politely, I understand your demands, fellow Taoist. It's just that offering medicine humans goes against my family's rules. Can that be substituted with something else? Substituted, Huiao repeated, then laughed sarcastically. Others use medicine humans as substitutions for spirit items, but you do the opposite. How foolish. Are you even aware of the cost? What can you offer year after year? Li Yunjiao retrieved a jade box from his storage pouch and offered, how about this? Huiao looked down to see a small flower resting inside the jade box. He sniffed it and exclaimed, a Foundation Establishment Realm spirit item. Yes, 1 flower in exchange for 5 years' worth of medicine humans, Li Yunjiao replied, putting it away before Huiao could inspect it further. Huiao wiped his drool but protested, 5 years, that's too much. Think about it again, fellow Taoist. This is a spirit flower from the mainland. It makes a good present for a demon general. I acquired it through some favors with the Han family, Li Yunjiao countered. Huiao's face lit up with greed upon hearing that. Li Yunjiao deliberately paused before asking, will this work? Yes, yes, Huiao replied eagerly, but Li Yunjiao deliberately continued, alas, it's a pity that this cannot be shown to others. On second thought, perhaps I should go with medicine humans. Fellow Taoist, what do you mean by that? Huiao's expression shifted dramatically once more. Li Yunjiao explained in a low voice, this flower was acquired through certain means. The Han family has always kept its existence under wraps. If it becomes public knowledge, it could lead to serious trouble. The Wanglin blossom was not exclusive to his family. Li Yunjiao was an overthinker, so it was impossible for him to overlook this, so he made up a story to tempt Huiao. Huiao's expression changed completely as various possibilities raced through his mind. Li Yunjiao smiled, adding, I came to the Eastern Sea merely to find a place to settle. If things don't work out, the worst I can do is leave and return home. The Serpent Dragon Palace cannot extend its reach to the mainland. Fellow Taoist, you better consider this carefully. His tone was gentle, but an underlying threat was evident. Huiao fell silent for a moment, then realized that Li Yunjiao had stepped closer, pressing his hand on the hilt of his sword. Huiao started, catching a glimpse of the green and white sword light flowing in Li Yunjiao's grasp. For a moment his legs turned to jelly and panic set in. The situation had shifted too quickly. In just a few exchanges, the power dynamic had completely changed. It seemed he had no choice but to comply with this person. Chapter 533, Threats and Promises. All sorts of emotions flickered across Huiao's face until his expression ultimately softened as he forced himself to laugh. Fine, I can simply relocate those people to other islands and treat it as a friendly exchange. Good, Li Yunjiao replied, narrowing his eyes and saying nothing further. Huiao reluctantly swore the profound scenery spiritual oath, and only then did Li Yunjiao remove his hand from the hilt of his sword. Li Yunjiao gave his younger sister a signal, and Li Qinghong produced a storage pouch, placing it into the demon's hands. When Xiao accepted it, his expression became more sincere. After exchanging a few more words, he hurriedly excused himself, cradling the jade box in its arms. He flew out of the formation in a daze. It took him some time to register the fact that he had just been manipulated into taking an oath. Cold sweat trickled down his back and his mind was reeling. Upon opening the storage pouch again, he discovered numerous spirit ores. The jade box in his hand felt icy, stirring feelings of excitement within him. Xiao silently transformed back into his original form and dove deep into the sea. As soon as Zhang Yan respectfully sent Xiao out of the formation, Li Qinghong sneered. As expected, they all fear power and lack morals. Trying to tempt them will just make their appetite grow. Raise a fist, and they'll be silent immediately. Li Yuanjiao nodded in agreement and said, "Nevertheless, they should be given what they deserve. These lap dogs may be useless, but it's easy for them to sabotage us. I'm just worried they may lead enemies here." As soon as they finished speaking, Zhang Yan came rushing back on the wind. He kneeled and prostrated himself before the siblings respectfully and said, "Greetings, my lord and my lady. From now on, Zongquan Island shall follow your lead." Li Yuanjiao nodded slightly, observing Zhang Yan's behavior. He was more adept than most, so Li Yuanjiao said softly, "Have you always been this humble all the time?" Zhang Yan sighed, yet his respectful expression remained unchanged as he cupped his hands and replied earnestly, "Of course. By humbling myself and calling him grandpa to gain his favor, I can save a few people on the island from dying." Li Yuanjiao fell silent, while Li Qinghong cast a silent glance at him and remarked softly, "Everyone says that the Eastern Sea is a dark place, but you are much brighter than the so-called orthodox Tao's in the mainland." Zhang Yan humbly denied the compliment. Meanwhile, Li Yuanjiao pulled several bags of spirit patties from his storage pouch, placing them before the hall with a clatter. He then took out several pills and handed them all to Zhang. "You can use these resources for now and distribute the spirit patties to the cultivators on the island. There's no need to consume blood qi from now on anymore." Zhang Yan kneeled and bowed deeply, his voice choked with emotion as he stammered, "Understood." In the eyes of the Li family, these spirit patties were just a drop in the bucket, but in this remote sea area where they could not be grown, they were considered rare resources for Zhang Yan and the others. Clutching the items, he respectfully retreated. He checked a few of the pills, inhaling their fragrant scent, and felt his eyes watering. He hurriedly dragged a boy out from the side hall, shaking him excitedly as he exclaimed, "Good boy, let's go home." The boy took 2 unsteady steps forward, causing Zhang Yan to burst into laughter. He lifted him into his arm, then rode the wind as they sped away toward the distant town. In the hall, Li Yuanjiao and the others smiled as they watched Zhang Yan leave. Li Qinghong remarked, "This is truly a remote sea area that remains oblivious to the prosperity of the mainland. 10 embryonic breathing realm spirit items. What kind of request is that? When our family was an embryonic breathing realm family, our tribute to the Azure Pond sect was already far more than that." Li Yuanjiao sighed, shaking his head. "These spirit items from the mainland will be recognized. I should exchange them for overseas spirit items in the market first to avoid raising any suspicions with that demon. As for the Wanglin Blossom, I've already inquired about it. Aside from being sold overseas by the Han family, there are several others in the north. A couple can also be found in the sea. We only have to give one every 5 years. It shouldn't be an issue, especially involving the Han family." Initially, Li Yuanjiao could not think of anything that would attract that demon's attention, so he made Xiao swear a spiritual oath and made it accept bribes from his family. With this, he could no longer oppress them with the Serpent Dragon Palace's prestige. This was already a worthwhile exchange. "Now that this is settled, I will return and look after our family now," Li Qinghong announced. Li Yuanjiao glanced at his sister, then said, "Qinghong and I will escort you all the way to Lake Xian. Don't worry about troubling us. After the round trip, I plan to enter seclusion to prepare for a breakthrough to the middle stage of the Foundation establishment realm." "All right," she agreed. The formation on Mount Qingdu radiated a light green glow as always. Li Qinghong took a few steps on the water, crossed the lake, and landed in the town. The Jade Court guard, Chen Mufeng, had been waiting on the shore for quite some time. With Li Zicheng's recent ascension as the head of the family, Chen Mufeng had also gained the power and resources he had long desired. He had now reached the 5th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm, which was pretty impressive. The young master before him was the future pillar of his lineage. Though Li Qinghong rarely visited Qingdu, Chen Mufeng had made time in his busy schedule to meet him. He greeted Li Qinghong with a smile, and Li Qinghong returned the gesture slightly, murmuring, "Battalion Commander." "Greetings, young master." At present, Li Qinghong was at the 4th heavenly layer of the embryonic breathing realm. While it wasn't quite time for him to descend the mountain, his father Li Zicheng had found a betrothed for him, prompting him to make the trip to meet her. As the eldest of his generation, Li Qinghong enjoyed a noble status in the family. Many prominent families were vying for his attention, but Li Zicheng had already chosen a girl from the Liu family. The Liu family had been in decline for some time, but they had recently produced a talented girl named Liu Lingjun. She broke through to the third stage of the embryonic breathing realm at just 15, making her a genius in the town. Despite her talent, the Liu family lacked the resources for proper training, making it a considerable achievement for her to stand shoulder to shoulder with the prominent families on her own. With such talent and her humble background, Li Zicheng was thrilled and consulted with the Liu family to arrange an engagement for Li Qinglao. The decision had been finalized, and Li Qinglao had seen the girl's portrait. She was indeed beautiful and talented, so he had no objections. However, he felt it necessary to meet her in person to determine whether she was astute or simply a pretty face. Following Chen Yufeng into the main hall, they turned a few corners and entered the side hall. 2 cups of tea had been placed on the table, but no one was present. Li Qinglao frowned slightly and seemed to be taken aback while Chen Yufeng was embarrassed. He quickly apologized. "I'll go and check. Perhaps something has happened." "No worries." "Please do as you please, Battalion Commander," Li Qinglao assured him. As Chen Yufeng turned to leave, another Jade Court guard rushed in, kneeling on one knee as he announced grimly, "Reporting to my lord." Although he spoke softly, Li Qinglao, yet to develop his spiritual sense, could only catch a few vague words. "It's useless. The Su family refused to come after all. The news has been blocked." Li Qinglao's frown deepened as he swirled the teacup on the table, glancing at Chen Yufeng's back. He noticed the middle-aged man clenching his fists tightly, gritting his teeth as he forced himself to suppress his voice. "Gather all the court guards for me," he ordered. Chapter 534, Su Xiao I. The Jade Court guard hurried and left, and Chen Yufeng's expression was grim. Li Qinglao took a sip of tea and asked, "Battalion Commander, what happened?" Chen Yufeng turned around and replied respectfully, "It's just a few trivial matters, young master. Let me." Li Qinglao happily poured him a cup of tea and responded, "There are no such things as trivial matters, they are all family affairs." Chen Yufeng's expression shifted slightly and he hurriedly explained, "It's about Lady Liu. She has a childhood sweetheart, the son of a family in town. His surname is Su and he has some family assets. His ancestor is the head of a town." The Liu family wanted to use Lady Liu to elevate their status, but after hearing that family head is interested in her, they immediately changed their mind, and this caused some gossip. Oh, an amused smile appeared on Li Qinglao's face and he joked, "Looks like I've become a scoundrel who stole someone's wife." Chen Yufeng looked embarrassed and said, "We have sent 2 people to invite Lady Liu here, but that man managed to beat them up and turn them away." Although those 2 are cultivators, they were no match for him. At this, Li Qinglao's smile vanished instantly. He fixed his gaze on the middle-aged man and said, "In my Li family's territory, I am the head of the 2nd lineage. I sent people to bring her here, and he dared to beat them up and chase them away. Who does he take the Li family for? We've never forced Lady Liu to agree to the marriage. She could have handled this in a more civilized manner instead of making things awkward." Chen Yufeng hung his head in silence and replied, "I have sent the Jade Court guards over." "Wait." Li Qinglao frowned and continued, "I finally made it down the mountain. Let's not create a scene. My clan uncles dislike that and I don't want to risk drawing their attention. That won't end well." Chen Yufeng nodded in agreement. "Get 2 Jade Court guards over here. I'll go there and see for myself," Li Qinglao instructed. He straightened his brocade robe and walked toward the door, accompanied by Chen Yufeng. This young master from the Su family is also rather peculiar. He was mute and had been stuck at the 2nd stage of the embryonic breathing realm for many years. He only broke through last month, and now that he can speak, everyone showers him with praises. Liu family's courtyard. Although the Liu family had been in decline for many years, it once enjoyed a glorious past. The courtyard was dark and old, but it occupied a large area. An exquisite stone table sat in the center, where a woman with a cold aura around her leaned against it. Her beautiful face was filled with radiance, but her slightly furrowed brow revealed a trace of sadness. At the other end of the table stood a strong, handsome young man who radiated vitality. "Xiao, you are acting too impulsively." The Li family is powerful and well-established. The geniuses in their family are cultivating in the sect, and they are connected to immortal clans through marriage. How could you offend them like this? Even if they came to my house, I could have just found an excuse to deal with them. By beating those 2 up and chasing them away, you're essentially making this into a big issue. Su Xiao crossed his arms and shook his head as he sneered coldly. "You don't understand. How many times will your excuses work? As long as their eldest son is interested in you, he'll continue sending people to bother you. The Liu family won't miss the chance to climb the social ladder either. The only way to make him back down is to create a scene. The Li family values their reputation and enforces strict rules within their clan. My only concern is that we won't be able to create a big enough problem," he added. Liu Lingjun shook her head and remarked softly, "You've been holed up in the courtyard for years and was mute before. You don't understand the extent of the Li family's influence." Su Xiao laughed proudly and assured, "Don't worry, I've broken through to Qi cultivation realm. The great Tao is just right in front of me." What? Surprise and joy filled Liu Lingzhen's face as she continued. It's only been a few years. You've made another breakthrough. She paused, then added with a hint of regret. It's a pity it came 2 years too late. You're already 25, and the Su family has bestowed the spiritual qi of heaven and earth on your big brother. It doesn't matter. I don't even want that. It's just a portion of cave spring clear qi. I've used better, Su Xiao replied, raising his eyebrows with disdain. It's just that I've been breaking through too quickly, so I can't reveal it to others yet. Though there's a secret technique to conceal it, it's hard to guarantee that the Li family won't have any perception technique to see through it. I'll have to wait a few more years. He then changed the subject and continued coldly. I'm just waiting for that pack of dogs to come and openly confront me. Even if he is Li Qinghong, the eldest son of this generation, the people in the clan affairs courtyard are watching him closely. He'll be in trouble if they report him directly to Qingdu. After hearing him, Liu Lingzhen calmed down significantly and murmured, what if the clan affairs courtyard covers up for him? Ha ha ha, I checked the records a few days ago. The clan affairs courtyard has always targeted the powerful. If they made any mistake, they would be the first to be blamed, Su Xiao replied confidently. He chuckled coldly and continued, as long as you and I stay calm, the Jade Court guards can't do anything to us. And with the immortal sect watching over all of us, I'm sure we'll be fine. Liu Lingzhen nodded, somewhat naively, listening to the words of her beloved. Just then Su Xiao detected something with his spiritual sense and whispered, someone is coming. Sure enough, an elder from the Liu family called out from outside obsequiously. A series of knocks came from the courtyard door, followed by a creaking sound. Madame Liu's voice rang out, Jenner, open the door quickly. Liu Lingzhen's face paled, and she grabbed Su Xiao and urged him to leave. However, Su Xiao refused to move and merely said, it's too late. I doubt he can see through my cultivation. Just let him in. Madame Liu had no intention of waiting for Liu Lingzhen to answer the door. With a creak, it was pushed open. However, it was a young man clad in a pale-colored Dharma robe who entered first with a spear slung across his back. He glanced at the two of them and waved casually. The middle-aged man behind him, who was at the 5th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm, pushed the group of elders and clan uncles from the Liu family out with ease. The door quickly slammed shut behind them. The young man with a heroic face then said, Li Qinghong from the Li family greets fellow Taoists. Liu Lingzhen felt as if she had fallen into an ice cave, and Su Xiao was momentarily stunned. He had never expected Li Qinghong to come in person. Su Xiao from the Su family greets young master, he managed to reply. Seeing the way the couple looked at each other, Li Qinghong quickly understood the situation. He continued, speaking with a smile, young master Su truly looks impressive. The Su family is a well-respected lineage. It's about time a hero emerged among them. Li Qinghong's words caught Su Xiao off guard and rendered him speechless, while Liu Lingzhen found herself in a difficult position. After a brief pause, Li Qinghong clarified, it was the Liu family who gave your name earlier, my lady. What a foolish mistake they have made. My subordinate also took their bribes and came to invite you over. Thankfully, young Master Su intervened. Otherwise, it would have caused a misunderstanding. This is certainly my office's oversight. As an apology, I've reserved a quota on the peak for the Su family and you, my lady. I've also sent someone to your family to issue a formal apology. I hope you can forgive the incompetence of my subordinates, he added generously. Chapter 535, Su Xiao II. Not only was Su Xiao stunned, but Liu Lingzhen was also taken aback for a moment. Her face then lit up with joy as she looked at him with newfound admiration and bowed to express her gratitude. Su Xiao also lowered his head and did the same. Li Qinghong's gaze lingered on him for a moment before stepping outside. A group of Liu family members immediately surrounded him, crying out in an effort to keep him there. These individuals had been profligate sons when the Liu family was in power. Now, as they aged and took on leadership roles, they had made a mess of things. Li Qinghong ignored their pleas and left the yard with Chen Yufeng right beside him. Once outside, Chen Yufeng seemed eager to speak. When they finally returned to the hall, the middle-aged man leaned closer and whispered, "That Su Xiao is really at the 3rd stage of the embryonic breathing realm." Li Qinghong's smile vanished, replaced by a puzzled expression as he murmured quietly, "Not only is the Liu family incompetent, but Liu Lingzhen also seems naive and lovesick. Thankfully, this engagement hasn't been finalized. Otherwise, problems would arise sooner or later." He then added thoughtfully, "As for Su Xiao, his sudden rise is quite peculiar." After a moment of contemplation, he said, "Tell me everything you know about Su Xiao." Understanding the gravity of the situation, Chen Yufeng hurriedly replied, "He is 25 years old, born mute and rarely left his home. He remained at the 2nd stage of the embryonic breathing realm until he was 21 when he suddenly began to speak. His personality changed drastically, and he broke through in his cultivation, keeping it a secret until it was recently discovered that he reached the 3rd stage." Li Qinghong calculated silently, then voiced his suspicion. Could he have encountered some opportunity? His doubt lingered and he turned to ask, I remember the head of the Liu family is an unrefined qi cultivator, right? That's correct, Chen Mufeng confirmed. Li Qinglao considered this answer, placing his hands behind his back as he said thoughtfully, send someone to call him over. Offer him some spirit items as a bribe and have him test Su Xiao. Chen Mufeng was momentarily taken aback, thinking Li Qinglao was being overly cautious. Nonetheless, given Li Qinglao's authority, he nodded and went off to execute the orders, leaving Li Qinglao standing in the hall, staring at the tea that had already grown cold. I would love to get to the bottom of this and see if this is the work of a demon, he murmured, his mouth set in a stern line. Liu family's courtyard. Once the Li family members left, Liu Lingjun exclaimed happily, he doesn't put on airs, what a good man. Good man, Su Xiao sighed inwardly. Li Qinglao's response had completely taken him by surprise. What a clever move to turn an enemy into a friend. No wonder the Li family dominates the lake, monopolizes spirit fields, levies heavy taxes, and squeezes out every last bit of spirit patties. They rely on connections to control the quotas, ensuring only their clan members can enter the immortal sect to train, and they've solidified their power within the family. That young master may appear polite on the surface, but who knows if he holds a grudge in his heart. It seems we can't stay here for long. It's better to leave early and explore. Once we establish our immortal foundation and acquire divine abilities, we'll return and overthrow this tyrant. Jenner, once you break through to the qi cultivation realm, we'll go out and explore. He said. This had always been their goal, but now Liu Lingjun hesitated slightly. But he has given me a place to practice on the mountain. The devil plague is rampant out there. Isn't it nice to stay in this safe haven and receive stipends? The Li family is also quite nice. They never kill to collect blood qi. Su Xiao sneered, transmitting his voice through mana. Such a formidable family must have their dark secrets. Li Ziming can produce so many pills without compromising his cultivation progress. He might be relying on devil cultivation techniques and blood qi. He probably kills in secret behind the immortal sect's back. If the immortal sect eventually finds out about it, he'll certainly face dire consequences. Liu Lingjun considered what he said carefully and felt that it made sense. She looked at him with admiration as Su Xiao continued, we'll travel the world or join the immortal sect. Once we become Purple Mansion Realm cultivators, we'll return and take over this family. Isn't that a good plan? By then, clan stipends will mean little to us, and the entire southern shore will be ours. His strong confidence captivated Liu Lingjun. Compared to Li Qinglao's politeness and reluctance to cause trouble, Su Xiao was far more charming. She smiled and nodded vigorously. Su Xiao paused, feeling that the situation was becoming more challenging than expected as Li Qinglao had caught him off guard. He produced a pill and suggested, you should go into seclusion and attempt a breakthrough now. Take this pill right away, don't wait for the qi cultivation realm. When you reach Jade Capital stage, we'll set off. Liu Lingjun's eyes lit up with excitement instantly, but she could not help but ask, where did you get this? You didn't steal it from home, did you? Don't worry, Su Xiao assured softly. After escorting Liu Lingjun to the backyard, Su Xiao prepared to leave. He had not mentioned his breakthrough to the qi cultivation realm to anyone, so he could not ride the wind as his means of travel. As he stepped out of the room, he encountered a fierce-looking old man blocking his path. Liu family head, he greeted, keeping his tone even for Liu Lingjun's sake, even though he had no respect for the man. Yet he had not anticipated the old man's harsh words. Stop seducing my daughter, you motherless bastard. Anger welled up in Su Xiao as he retorted sharply, I'm only showing you respect because of your daughter, old man. You better know your place. Old Liu, clearly enraged, lunged at him with an open palm, muttering curses under his breath. Su Xiao swiftly grabbed the old man's arm with one hand, his grip like an iron clamp, preventing him from pulling away. The old man made no attempt to pull his hand away either as he instinctively reached for the sword at his waist with his other hand. With a sneer, Su Xiao reacted faster than lightning, seizing the sword before the old man could even draw it. As he pulled and twisted, a dark flame erupted from his lips. Old man Liu felt a sharp pain in his chest and quickly pulled out 2 talismans, but they were incinerated in the flames before he could even have time to use them. He felt weak all over, as if his very cultivation had been burned dry. He screamed and teetered on the brink of collapse. However, Su Xiao had no intention of killing him. He calmly sucked the fire back into his stomach and warned coldly, annoy me again and you will die miserably. With a swift motion, a small rune appeared in his hand. He slapped it onto old man Liu's chest and threatened, if you dare to spread anything about me, this fire will reduce you to ashes as soon as you open your mouth. Ah, D-Devil, Devil Cultivator. Old man Liu, having never encountered anything like that, was struck by how dark and eerie the spell was. He fearfully accused Su Xiao of being a devil cultivator, but quickly fell silent and collapsed to the ground under Su Xiao's fierce gaze. With a mocking smile, Su Xiao turned and walked away. Old man Liu shakily got to his feet, spitting in anger before quietly slipping into the backyard and kneeling down, too frightened to speak. A jade court guard landed in the courtyard, his appearance resembling that of Chen Mufeng. Shocked, he murmured, "Just that one move, just one." Even a chi cultivator of the second heavenly layer like him clearly felt the dangerous nature of the black flame, let alone old man Liu. Did he reincarnate, or did he inherit some sort of immortal legacy? I have never seen such a genius, he murmured to himself. Just as the jade court guard finished speaking, he spotted a figure leaning against the backyard door. It was Su Xiao, who had returned with a blazing black flame in his hand as he regarded him with a sinister expression. "Captain Chen, why must you meddle in other people's affairs?" Chapter 536, Tremors I. In the blink of an eye, Captain Chen felt an instant chilling sensation on his neck, and when he reached for his waist, he found that the jade pendant he kept there had disappeared. As he looked up again, a black flame materialized before him. He barely had time to raise his hands in defense before he was sent rolling on the ground. Su Xiao glanced at him with disdain as he sneered coldly. "All you cultivate are worthless techniques." Captain Chen was shocked to be so easily overpowered by a cultivator at the third stage of the embryonic breathing realm. Alarm bells rang in his mind. He suspected possession by a devil. As panic set in, he reached for his communication talisman to call for help. "Seize." Su Xiao raised a crimson command token, its surface adorned with ancient runes. With a sharp command, the token emitted a gentle red glow, shooting out like lightning right away. Captain Chen let out 2 hoarse gasps before collapsing to his knees, his arms hanging limp by his sides. In a single move, his mind had been subdued, leaving him helpless. Fearing that delaying would attract other jade court guards, Su Xiao acted swiftly. He formed a black seal in his hand, calmly stepping forward and pressing his palm into Captain Chen's chest. Knowing that injuring or killing a jade court guard would cause significant trouble, Su Xiao had held back during their fight. Now, instead of striking a fatal blow, he planted a spell within Captain Chen's body. Once the seal took hold, he withdrew his token and watched as the man slowly regained consciousness. Captain Chen emerged from his stupor, confused and disoriented. When clarity returned, his eyes filled with fear. Gripping his long blade, he appeared ready to fight once more. Su Xiao sneered, "Captain Chen, think carefully. We are in the same boat now." The realization dawned on Captain Chen, and he quickly scanned his body with his spiritual sense. With a heavy heart, he dropped his blade, despair washing over him. He thought bitterly to himself, "I could die, but I can't doom my family along with me." He reluctantly asked, Who are you?" Su Xiao's expression remained calm. "I know your family lives within the Li family's territory. I will not force you into anything. Just pretend none of this happened. That way you save your life and your family stays safe." Su Xiao's voice lowered, his tone measured and persuasive. "Just turn a blind eye and let me leave. When the time comes, I will take Lingjin and be gone without causing any trouble." With his words precisely calibrated and the token subtly influencing Captain Chen's mind, Su Xiao turned away confidently. Caught in an agonizing inner struggle, Captain Chen watched Su Xiao. Unable to resist the pull of self-preservation, he took off, flying toward the mountains as if nothing had happened. Su Xiao, observing his departure, smiled smugly. "Whatever I want to do by the time I leave is beyond your control." He then leisurely made his way back. In the grand hall, Li Qinghong sat at the head of the room, holding a jade slip. A white-furred monkey stood nearby. The tall creature carried a staff on its back and wore a stern expression. This white monkey, now at the 8th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm, seldom spoke and rarely interacted with others. Its unwavering loyalty to the Li family made it the perfect guardian for Li Qinghong. Kneeling below him was Chen Mufeng, bowing his head in submission as he made his report. "You are telling me Su Xiao took 2 strikes from old man Liu and left wounded?" Li Qinghong said aloud as he listened carefully, pondering for a moment before his expression softened with a trace of guilt. "Seems I have been too harsh, envious of his talents. I may have wronged him." Chen Mufeng remained silent, not daring to speak. Li Qinghong, known for his mild temperament, continued calmly, "Since that is the case, let us put this dispute with the Liu family to rest. However, I fear old man Liu may pressure his daughter. Bring him here, I will explain the situation to him." "Right away," Chen Mufeng responded as he respectfully withdrew. Li Qinghong sat in contemplation, considering how to smooth things over so he could return to his cultivation quickly. Su Xiao may have potential, but he is not one to submit to others. It is best to foster goodwill, give him some spirit stones, and let him leave. My humble house cannot shelter a grand figure like him. As these thoughts ran through his mind, an elderly figure shuffled into the hall, trembling as he kneeled before Li Qinghong. It was none other than old man Liu, who, despite his usual arrogance within the estate, now prostrated himself in silence. Liu Yi of the Liu family pays respects to family head. He bowed deeply, his forehead damp with sweat, his voice trembling with respect. "Family head Liu, since your daughter Lingjin and Su Xiao have mutual affection, you should do them the favor of allowing their union. Let them pick a date, and I shall play the role of matchmaker on their wedding day." Li Qinghong said as he stayed seated at the head of the hall and read from the jade slip in his hand, sipping tea calmly. In his younger days, old man Liu had been a notorious wastrel, yet he had witnessed and heard of the Li family's rise to power, leaving him deeply shaken. Due to Liu Raoxun's connection, he had even met Li Tongya once. At the time, he was still young and kneeled trembling before Li Tongya, too terrified to even raise his head. He could only hear Li Tongya addressing him by his full name and asking a few questions about the Liu family's affairs, which had left his legs weak. Now in his old age, Liu Yi had at least come to understand the gravity of situations and the value of life. However, with his fate in the hands of another, he could not find the words to speak. Li Qinghong, noticing the silence, raised his eyebrows and glanced at him inquisitively. That single sound shattered Liu Yi's courage. Torn between covering for Su Xiao to save him and trembling with indecision, sweat streamed down his face. Before Li Qinghong could say a word, Liu Yi had already pressed his forehead to the ground repeatedly, sobbing uncontrollably. Li Qinghong's smile slowly faded as he scrutinized the old man. Taking a step down from his seat, the crisp sound of his jade-tipped boots echoed on the steps below his robe. He stood silently, watching as Liu Yi's sweat soaked the ground, realizing that something must be terribly wrong. In a low, heavy voice he asked, "Liu Yi, what is going on?" The mention of his name hit Liu Yi like a thunderclap, causing his legs to shake uncontrollably. Finally, the weight of the situation crushed him, and he wailed loudly, "Ancestor." Su. He had only managed to utter the first syllable when the white monkey behind Li Qinghong opened its eyes, stepped forward and reached for the old man. But it was already too late. Black flames erupted from Liu Yi's body, bursting from his chest and abdomen with a thunderous boom. Blood splattered throughout the hall, sending his organs flying in all directions. Black blood spouted like a fountain, filling the air. Li Qinghong stumbled back in shock, yet black stains still marred the hem of his robe, splattering across his chest and collar. From within the boiling black blood, a dark seal shot upward, attempting to escape. However, a large furry hand swiftly reached out and deftly grasped the black light. The black light struggled to break free, thrashing wildly amidst the overwhelming demonic energy surrounding it. Although it held a higher power, it was relentlessly ground down by the furry hand's immense force. The white monkey withdrew its hand while Li Qinghong wiped the bloodstains from his collar. He removed his robe and draped it over his arm. "Captain Chen." Li Qinghong's sudden shout rang through the hall. Hanging his robe carefully on the back of a chair, he saw Chen Mufeng rush in, his pupils dilating at the sight of the carnage. Overwhelmed by fear, Chen Mufeng dropped to his knees with a thud, stammering, "I accept my punishment." Chapter 537, Tremors II. Torn between fear and hatred toward Su Xiao, Chen Mufeng also felt a flicker of relief that he was dealing with Li Qinghong. Had it been Li Yuanping, he would have kicked him to the ground without a word, leaving no room for explanations. Facing away from him, Li Qinghong struggled to contain his anger. Kneeling will not help. "Gather the men immediately and secure the Su family. Su Xiao might not even know yet." Chen Mufeng leaped to his feet instantly and dashed out the door. Li Qinghong's voice echoed after him, "If he escapes, do not bother coming back." Chen Mufeng responded with urgency, disappearing into the distance. Meanwhile, Li Qinghong was plagued by unease, recalling the old matter with Chu Yi from Yufu Prefecture. He knew too many hidden truths, and his mind remained clear despite the circumstances. Su Xiao was no Chu Yi. With the cautionary tales of the Kong family and Chu Yi, I cannot afford to be careless. Calling yet another attendant forward, he ordered, "Keep a close watch on the Liu family, especially Liu Lingjun." At that moment, Li Qinghong abandoned any thoughts of saving face or fostering harmony. His mind was now consumed with fear and hatred. Wasting no time, he summoned the white monkey, and together they took to the skies, heading toward Mount Qingdu. Upon arriving at the mountain, the hall stood empty except for a young woman seated in the courtyard, combing her hair. Her phoenix-like eyes and fine eyebrows gave her an elegant, noble appearance. Seeing her, Li Qinghong's heart sank. With a grim expression, he greeted her, "Auntie." Although Li Yuexiang was younger than him, her seniority was much higher. Noticing his anxious demeanor, she asked, "Why the rush? My brother has already entered seclusion." Hearing that Li Xijun was in seclusion, Li Qinghong's heart sank further. Li Yuexiang continued, "He sensed an opportunity to break through to the 7th heavenly layer of the Qi cultivation realm a few days ago, so he hurried into seclusion. It is best not to disturb him. This is bad." Although Li Qinghong knew there was not much benefit in sharing all the details with Li Yuexiang, he still gave her a brief account of the situation. After listening, Li Yuexiang set down her comb, her expression thoughtful. "So, he carries a thread of fate within him. That is why our brother suddenly went into seclusion, and grandfather and elder Dong led a group of Qi cultivation realm disciples eastward to congratulate Taoist master Hufu, leaving us with weakened defenses." Her words sent a chill through Li Qinghong, as it was only then did he realize that many of their key Qi cultivators had gone east. He responded grimly, "Can the thread of fate truly be so potent? Could this not all just be a coincidence?" Li Wushao tied up her hair and answered, "Let us not lose our composure. Before going into seclusion, brother left me a jade. It can summon him. Do you want to try it?" Li Qinghong nodded decisively and said in a low voice, "Please awaken eighth uncle. This matter is too important. It is better to err on the side of caution, even if it means striking preemptively. I will take full responsibility." Li Wushao took a jade pendant from her sleeve and murmured, "Do not speak of taking responsibility like that." With a light squeeze, she crushed the jade talisman into powder. At the Qingdu cave dwelling, Li Xijun, looking slightly pale, stepped out of the cave dwelling, where several people were already waiting for him. He scanned them briefly, took a letter, and one of the jade court guards stepped forward, bowing respectfully, "My lord, the clan affairs courtyard has sent word. There seems to be trouble with young Master Qingleo." Trouble with Qingleo. Li Xijun frowned. The Cheng and Ming generation of the Li family were not particularly gifted, except for the promising young Li Qinghui. The only other noteworthy member was Li Qingleo, who was known for being courteous and steady. What happened? Li Xijun asked. "It appears to involve a conflict with the Su family in town. All over a woman," the guard reported. "What?" Li Xijun's expression darkened. Qingleo had always conducted himself well on the mountain. He never expected him to cause such trouble the moment he went down to town. However, without more details, Li Xijun held back his judgment and said quietly, "We will put this matter aside for now. Summon Wuxiang." He figured that Wuxiang's urgent summons had to mean something serious was unfolding. His thoughts immediately turned to the possibility that their elders overseas were in trouble, prompting the use of the jade talisman to request aid. A sense of unease weighed heavily on him. As he was about to get up, another figure rushed in and reported, "My lord, the young lady and young master are here to see you." Li Xijun sat back down and gestured with his hand. "Let them in." Li Wuxiang and Li Qingleo hurriedly stepped forward, but without fully grasping the situation, Li Xijun calmly invited them to sit. However, Qingleo did not even take the time to sit before speaking urgently in a low voice, "Eighth uncle. There is someone down in the town who might carry a thread of fate, just like what happened with Chu Ye." This news was entirely beyond Li Xijun's expectations, and far more serious than he had anticipated. His brows shot up in shock and he asked gravely, "Where is this person? Have they made contact? How far have they gone?" "Qingleo has already controlled the situation," Li Qingleo replied. "Though not as terrifying as Chu Yi, there is still something unsettling about him. He may carry a thread of fate and cannot be taken lightly." Li Xijun rubbed the jade pendant hanging from his waist, pondering briefly. Just then the lake beside Qingdu began to churn violently, and a gust of sinister wind swept through the courtyard. A young man dressed in black descended hurriedly, his piercing snake-like eyes scanning the surroundings before bowing his head. "Master, do you have orders for me?" This was Li Wushao, whose twin-hooked tail had already reformed, solidifying his combat prowess. Li Yuanjiao had assigned him to guard and train within the family grounds. Li Xijun spoke softly. "Something has gone wrong within the clan. I must rely on you, Senior Wushao." Two streaks of black light swirled within the shadow beneath Wushao's feet. He nodded and stepped back behind Li Xijun. "Let us go," Li Xijun commanded. Li Qingleo nodded in response, but Li Xijun hesitated momentarily and extended a hand to block his sister, Li Wuxiang. "You two must not go," he said solemnly. "People like this are often unpredictable and dangerous. I fear they might use underhanded means." Li Wuxiang paused briefly, then retrieved a talisman from her sleeve and placed it into her brother's hands gently. "Brother, this was left to me by father. Take it for your protection. You must be cautious. Who knows how strong this person is?" Li Xijun gave a silent nod, then summoned the wind and flew swiftly toward the town. From a distance, he could already see several figures patrolling the air above, maintaining a loose but watchful presence. The Li estate appeared as usual on the surface, yet a subtle tension filled the air, as if it were braced for something. A jade court guard whispered the gathered intelligence in Li Xijun's ear, guiding him toward the Su family estate from afar. "My lord, the target is at the third stage of the embryonic breathing realm. Should we send someone to provoke the devil cultivator from the Su family and lure him out for you to observe?" the guard asked quietly. "There is no need for such trouble," Li Xijun responded, forming a concealment spell. He remained high in the clouds, refraining from probing with his spiritual senses. Instead, his eyes glimmered with a pale light, cold as frost and hazy as mist as he focused his gaze downward. The Su family's protective formation was rudimentary, designed merely to block external interference. With the enhancement of both his perception technique and talisman chi, the barrier quickly faded from his sight. In an instant, Li Xijun spotted a handsome youth standing within the courtyard, third heavenly layer of the chi cultivation realm. He exclaimed in surprise. Chapter 538, Green Pine Temple I. The robust young man sat upright in the courtyard, his fingers forming hand seals. Black flames churned from his palms, spreading in ripples around him. Dark runes flickered like streams of light around him, weaving and twisting through the air by his side. Li Xijun cast a brief glance his way, wary of being noticed. He averted his gaze and monitored the young man from the corner of his eye. Qinglia wasn't affected by him, meaning this person isn't on the same level as Chu Yi. There likely isn't a Purple Mansion realm cultivator behind the scenes controlling him either. It's possible he carries a thread of fate, stumbled upon some hidden legacy, or received guidance from a skilled master. Li Xijun refrained from acting hastily and first summoned Chen Mufeng. The Jade Court guards patrolling the area are too concentrated, it might raise suspicion. Spread them out along the borders. His lover is still on the mountain. I will have Senior Wushao personally keep an eye on Su Zio, he instructed. Chen Mufeng's heart was full of bitterness, thinking only of making amends and avoiding demotion. At the time, he had only sent a trusted confidant, Captain Chen, his kinsman, to handle matters. Now, Chen Mufeng had quietly reassigned Captain Chen to Mount Yue to distance him from the events in town, intending to deal with him once the situation was resolved. After voicing his acknowledgement, Chen Mufeng hurried off to carry out the orders. Li Qinglio had initially granted Liu Lingzhen access to cultivate on the mountain, intending to drive a wedge and win her over. Yet now it had inadvertently placed her within the grasp of the Li family. Li Xijun assigned 2 people to question her discreetly, then turned to Li Wushao. Senior, do you know of any sect techniques involving black flames, preferably ones capable of manipulating minds or threatening lives? Li Xijun was well acquainted with the factions in Wu and Yue states and knew them thoroughly. However, he had never seen anything like this black flame capable of beguiling minds and toying with lives, leading him to suspect it might originate from overseas influences. Li Wushao thought for a moment, hissing as he spoke. There are countless Dao lineages on the seas, and those sunk into the ocean floor are even more numerous. As for black flames, there is indeed one that is quite famous. He paused for a moment, then added gravely, Crimson Reef Island, a significant power on the seas. Their direct disciples cultivate merging fire, one of the fire virtue, and are known for breathing black flames laced with spells that confuse minds and cast sinister curses. Crimson Reef Island. Li Xijun's primary concern was whether this individual was a pawn of a Purple Mansion realm cultivator. However, there had been no word from Li Zizhi's end. Given the current strength of the Li family, any Purple Mansion realm cultivator would have informed them before taking action, rather than stirring trouble in secret. With no incoming news and given the limits of Su Zio's abilities, murderous intent rose in Li Xijun's heart. He suspected that someone was using Su Zio to disrupt his family. Yet, the Li family had no prior conflict with Crimson Reef Island, making the situation uncertain. He summoned one of his men and ordered, find a clever female cultivator and have her extract some information from Liu Lingzhen subtly. Gauge her stance on the immortal sects and gates. The subordinate hesitated but nodded, leaving with several capable assistants. It was clear that he did not fully grasp Li Xijun's intent, prompting Li Xijun to elaborate, send a female cultivator to casually talk about some overseas sects. Drop a few deliberate errors, make it sound convincing but irritating. See if Liu Lingzhen can catch the mistakes and determine her attitude toward the sects. After making these arrangements, Li Xijun refrained from acting hastily. He intended to probe further, delaying matters until the ancestors returned. If he leaves without incident, that would be ideal, but if he bears a grudge, we cannot let him go. Li Xijun lingered in the sky, feeling deeply unsettled. Only he possessed the perception technique needed to pierce through illusions. He found a vantage point on Lijing Peak, where he could oversee the entire town below. The night passed. The next morning, a subordinate arrived on a gust of wind and reported respectfully, "My lord, as you instructed, we sent someone to speak with Liu Lingzhen. She has revealed some information." Following Li Xijun's orders, the female cultivator approached Liu Lingzhen arrogantly, showing off and casually mentioning some details about the outer seas. Liu Lingzhen, naive as she was, could not stand the boasting and retorted. The subordinate reported. She pointed out the mistakes made by the 2 agents we sent, exposing them easily. Once she started talking, she could not stop and spoke highly of the sects, even describing some of their artifacts in detail. Su Zio may be cautious, but his lover is all appearance and no substance. She's left us far too many clues. These remarks were swiftly relayed to Li Xijun. The mention of the outer seas stirred thoughts in his mind, prompting him to mutter, "A girl who has never set foot outside this town somehow knows about the artifacts of overseas sects." With this information in hand, many possibilities were eliminated. The most likely scenario was that Su Zio had a thread of fate upon him, stumbling upon Crimson Reef Island's inheritance and falling under its influence, or he might even be a vessel possessed by someone from the island. If Su Zio truly had deep connections to Crimson Reef Island, it could involve a rare technique for avoiding death through reincarnation, making him an even greater threat and harder to eliminate. Li Xijun considered this possibility for a moment before dismissing it. If it really is a reincarnation technique, the matter should have been made public. If he had informed us, the Li family would have ensured his safe return to the island. unless he is some kind of rogue disciple. His thoughts raced, circling through numerous possibilities. The more he pondered, the harder it became to judge the situation. Exhaling slowly, he turned his mind to the enigma surrounding reincarnation. No matter what, it is clear that he is tied to Crimson Reef Island. Setting aside his concerns, Li Xijun flipped through the records handed to him by his subordinates, reviewing Su Zio's recent activities in detail. He had to admit that Su Zio's temperament and behavior suggested a growing resentment toward the Li family, perhaps even greed. Li Xijun found it intolerable for someone with a threat of fate to harbor ill will toward his family while remaining outside their control. Such a person posed a greater danger than a Foundation establishment realm cultivator lurking nearby. If the situation escalated to that point, offending Crimson Reef Island might be unavoidable. Su Zio would have to be eliminated. Just because someone has a threat of fate does not mean they cannot be killed. As Li Xijun ran his hand along the hilt of his sword, murderous intent simmered within him. Suppressing it, he muttered to himself, to deal with someone like this, you either hold back entirely or strike with full force, ensuring they have no chance to escape. He stood up, calculating how long it would take for the senior family members to return. But with them far away on unpredictable journeys across the seas, Su Zio grew stronger. With each passing day, waiting any longer might not be an option. As these thoughts swirled in his mind, another subordinate rushed in and reported, "My lord, that devil cultivator just took a large barrel of medicinal herbs. We do not know what kind of spell he intends to perform." The Li family treated Su Zio with great caution. While the core members understood the reason, most of the lower-ranking members were left puzzled. Following Li Xijun's orders, word had spread that Su Zio was a devil cultivator who had seized another's body. Coupled with the grisly and bizarre death of Old Man Liu, fear and hatred toward Su Zio simmered among the family members. Chapter 539, Green Pine Temple II. Li Xijun rose swiftly upon hearing the latest report and rode the wind outside, where Wushao approached him with a hissing voice and reported, he just left the courtyard. Fixing his gaze on Su Zio, Li Xijun saw him sitting cross-legged, immersed in a bath of crimson medicinal liquid, seemingly preparing for a breakthrough. Li Xijun's heart sank, thinking to himself worriedly, no, I cannot wait any longer. If I let this continue, he might break through to the Foundation establishment realm in just a few years. By the time the elders return from the vast eastern sea, he could already be too powerful. Who knows what methods he'll have mastered by then. And if he slips away unnoticed, it'll be too late. It's better to strike now than regret later. Without hesitation, Li Xijun waved his hand. Everyone, gather here. He narrowed his eyes, activating both his perception technique and talisman qi to observe the spiritual qi flowing through the medicinal bath. He waited patiently for Su Zio to enter the critical stage of his breakthrough. When he reaches the tipping point, we will strike together, Li Xijun murmured, his hand already resting on the hilt of the sword at his waist. Behind him, the hem of Li Wushao's robe shifted with an ominous rolling motion, while the white monkey, Chen Mufeng, and the others stood at the ready, fully prepared for battle. Li Xijun sighed inwardly, what a mess. Ever since our family achieved the Foundation establishment realm and rose to dominate the lake, it has been years since we've had to assemble with such vigilance. And now, all this just for a mere qi cultivator. Su Zio slowly calmed his mind, his breath becoming unsteady as the medicinal liquid in the basin whirled faster and began to dissipate. With the cautionary tales of Chu Yi and the Kong family still fresh in his mind, Li Xijun dared not be careless. He feared his guest cultivators might also lower their guard, so he repeatedly reminded them, this person is most likely a reincarnated devil. Who knows how many secret treasures or forbidden techniques he carries. Do not underestimate him. A single lapse could cost us our lives. Sure enough, at these words, the expressions of those present grew serious. Even Li Wushao, who had stood stiffly with a stern face, showed a flicker of surprise and increased his vigilance in his gaze toward the figure below. Su Zio's aura surged. Li Xijun held his breath, waiting for the critical moment to strike. At the eastern sea, Li Yuanjiao escorted Li Qinghong back to Lake Xian, ensuring she entered the river path leading to the Yue cultivating sect before heading eastward again. Being a cautious person, he did not retrace his steps but instead took a different route with Qinghong to return to Zongquan Island, adding a slight detour while staying safe. They flew silently for a while, passing a long, pine-covered island. From afar, the skies above were filled with clashing spells and flashes of light, creating an impressive commotion. Based on his calculations, Li Yuanjiao determined that this location aligned with the notorious Green Pine Temple ruins. For years, Sword Gate, Chunyi Dao Gate, and Crimson Reef Island had been vying for control over it, yet no resolution had been reached. As Li Yuanjiao looked toward the ruins, a thought suddenly occurred to him. He turned to Qinghong and asked, Master Monk, do the records of the Liao River's teachings mention anything about the ancient gate known as Green Pine Temple? Qingheng pressed his palms together and replied softly, "Indeed. This immortal temple was founded before Moonlight Origin Mansion. It produced two true monarchs. The first remains obscure but was known to cultivate in the fire virtue system, while the second realized the swamp gold attainment but was slain by the lesser Yang Devil monarch." Li Yuanjiao recalled the lesser Yang Devil monarch, whose name was linked to Splintered Island. He nodded and then asked, "So, the legacies of swamp gold and fire virtue lie within Green Pine Temple?" "Correct," Qingheng affirmed. Li Yuanjiao, however, remained skeptical. If two true monarchs emerged from there, how did it fall into the hands of these mere Purple Mansion realm immortal gates? Would any Golden Core realm cultivator not be interested in it? Surely there are true monarchs attuned to swamp gold within the mainland. Qingheng nodded and explained, "After the fall of Green Pine Temple, it was plundered by many factions, leaving it a desolate ruin. There are no longer any truly valuable treasures, which is why it is now called the Green Pine Temple Ruins." Qingheng continued, "However, even if the artifacts are gone, the records of its techniques remain in the hidden realm within it. Moreover, there are ancient spirit herbs cultivated for centuries there, which are of significant value to any sect." As Li Yuanjiao listened, his gaze returned to the mountain. Following his glance, Qingheng continued in a calm tone, "The Sword Gate covets the swamp gold Dao, Crimson Reef Island desires the merging fire arts, and Chunni Gate claims to be the descendants of Green Pine Temple. Naturally, all of them want a piece. The great formation protecting Green Pine Temple remains sealed and has yet to be broken. They are all waiting for the arrival of a predestined person." "A predestined person," Li Yuanjiao repeated thoughtfully, his brows furrowing. Unwilling to get entangled in the conflict, Li Yuanjiao and Qingheng flew around the mountain. As they passed it, Li Yuanjiao murmured to himself, and Qingheng added, "This is also called fate, a subtle force, inexplicable yet undeniable. Without that destined person, not even Golden Core realm cultivators can breach it, no matter how fiercely the three sects struggle." Qingheng paused briefly before elaborating further. "Some formations open only when the destined person passes through it. Some treasures lie buried for millennia, waiting for one specific person to claim them. And some individuals, no matter the danger they encounter, possess foreknowledge and cannot be easily killed, all due to the force of fate. Fate is this powerful, does that not make one invincible?" Li Yuanjiao pondered aloud, taking note of Qingheng's words. Qingheng responded with a serene expression, "Fate is not a tangible force, much like the metallic essence, which also has limits. Triumph and defeat alike can be attributed to fate. As one scripture puts it, whatever lies beyond one's strength to achieve, that is fate." The words of a Buddhist cultivator were always cryptic. Li Yuanjiao pondered for a moment before quietly saying, "In my view, fate and metallic essence are very much alike. Both are forces beyond control, something that defies strategy and clouds judgment." The thought of his elder Li Tongya crossed Li Yuanjiao's mind. Qingheng, hands clasped in front of him, chanted softly, "It was not always like this. Back then, whether immortal, devil, or monk, they all pursued absolute freedom. Now that freedom is achieved, this is what we have become." Ripples shimmered across the turquoise and red surface of the water beneath them. Li Yuanjiao did not respond, instead flew alongside Qingheng quietly. Before long, they arrived at Zongquan Island. The people on the island, seeing the two return, cheered loudly, their joyful voices filling the air. Once they landed, Zhang Yan stepped forward respectfully to greet them. Qingheng murmured a few quiet words before retreating. Li Yuanjiao leaned closer to Zhang Yan and instructed in a low voice, "Send out a few trusted men to gather information across the various marketplaces. Choose only the most loyal ones and ensure everything is done discreetly." Zhang Yan bowed deeply and reassured him, "Rest assured, my lord. Everyone on this island has survived the jaws of monsters. Their loyalty is beyond question." Li Yuanjiao's tone grew serious. "There is an immortal foundation known as the Molten Metal Cave, capable of sensing artifacts and forging weapons. Investigate which of the three gold it belongs to and whether it has any Dao partners. Report back to me once you know this." Zhang Yan nodded and withdrew. Now having a direction, Li Yuanjiao mulled over his next steps. The Molten Metal Cave Azure Pond sect has no known Dao partners. Yu Muxian is a proud individual who would never allow his path to be severed. If I can gather information about related techniques and tie them to the Green Pine Temple ruins, I can surely lure Yu Muxian out. With the initial steps in place, Li Yuanjiao retreated to a secluded chamber. Activating the room's protective formations, he still felt uneasy. He retrieved a formation plate and meticulously rearranged the setup himself. Only then did he sit down, satisfied, ready to begin his meditation. Time to break through to the mid-stage of Foundation Establishment Realm. Chapter 540, Gu Hongyao I, Lijing Town, Su Family. Su Xiao stood topless, exposing his muscular shoulders and arms to the morning air. He had taken a walk early this morning and noticed several things that left him uneasy. It felt like a few silver needles were pricking at the space between his eyebrows. Hiding in the house, he clutched a jade pearl in his sleeve and sat cross-legged, pretending to be calm. However, his breath wavered and his thoughts flickered with uncertainty. This morning, Captain Chen has not patrolled the streets as usual. Either something has happened, or he has been transferred. If the Li family intends to make a significant move, they won't be able to hide it from him, so they'll move him away first. Though Xiao had both Old Man Liu and Captain Chen in his grasp, he still lacked confidence. Deep down, he felt a constant unease surging within him. Liu Lingzhen's weak character was a concern. He had to put up a facade in front of her. Though he looked down on them, he was acutely aware of the Li family's deep roots. Keeping these two under his control increased the risk of exposure, amplifying his anxiety. After going out to buy medicinal herbs, he passed by the tavern to check if old Liu was drinking as usual, only to find the shop vandalized and closed. He returned to the courtyard with doubt gnawing at him. A bad feeling welled up in his heart. If the Li family were truly plotting against me, they wouldn't send just anyone to do it. But why would they go to such lengths? Who would act so obviously then so discreetly? He felt strange about this whole thing and was constantly on the edge. The urge to flee surged within him, but he hesitated. Liu Lingzhen was still on the mountain, and he could not bear to leave her behind. Xiao fantasized about returning home gloriously after a decade, overthrowing the Li family's tyrannical rule, and elevating his own family to a prestigious clan. However, that was still far off, and for now he could not afford to fall out with the Li family. As the jade pearl spun in his palm, many fantasies flashed before his eyes. Pain shot through his chest and shoulder blades. His heart raced as if an impending disaster awaited him. His left hand instinctively pressed against his storage pouch. Hiss! Suddenly he felt a chill over half his face. Reacting quickly, he summoned the wind, retreating just in time. A flash of red armor materialized around him as the wall behind him crumbled, revealing a sinister black light. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out and dust filled the air as the building collapsed. A massive black snake tail swept through the rubble, narrowly missing Xiao and leaving him pale and shaken. A Foundation Establishment realm demonic creature. He gasped in shock. Before him stood a malevolent-looking youth, his black robe billowing in them. Between his black boots on the ground, two black hooks writhed in the shadows, exuding a bone-chilling aura. Xiao, taken aback and filled with dread, exclaimed, "You're that hooked serpent." Li Wushao was taken aback by the fact that Xiao managed to dodge his attack, but he quickly suppressed his surprise. "How strange, to think that a mere chi cultivator like you managed to dodge my attack," he murmured. Battle cries filled the air, and several figures swung their swords, intent on cutting down Xiao. Reacting swiftly, Xiao crushed the jade pearl in his grasp, conjuring a round chi shield that enveloped him. He met Li Wushao's gaze with a solemn expression and declared, "I have never offended you. I merely intervened to stop that young master of yours from forcefully taking a commoner girl for a bride. Yet here you are trying to silence me." His words belied a blatant disdain for the Li family's chi cultivators as he frowned and questioned their intentions. The chi cultivators surrounding him were inconsequential. "It's just a group of small fries that can't hurt me. They practice grade 2 or 3 cultivation techniques and know no spells." Since Xiao's chi shield was of the Foundation Establishment realm, the attacks from the chi cultivators were ineffective against it. The mana lights merely bounced off and dissipated into the air. Xijun observed the entire scene quietly, hidden among the clouds in the distance. Thank goodness Li Wushao is here. Otherwise, even if all the chi cultivation elders of our family were present, they couldn't hope to touch him. It's fortunate that Li Wushao stayed behind instead of Qinghong, and he's repaired his tail hooks. If there were any missteps, he wouldn't stand a chance against him. Li Wushao, a demonic creature from the Eastern Sea, did not understand what Xiao meant by forcefully taking a commoner girl for a bride, and dismissed his words as mere nonsense. Ignoring him completely, he continued to extend his tail hooks. Chen Mufeng, determined to stop Xiao from saying more, shouted, "Devil, you killed Liu Ye. You've used devil techniques to control hundreds of households. You've advanced from the second stage of the embryonic breathing realm to the third heavenly layer of the chi cultivation realm in just 2 years. What else could it be if not devil cultivation techniques? Who knows how many lives you've consumed in secret?" While he was speaking, Li Wushao's tail hooks collided with Xiao's shield. The difference in strength between Foundation Establishment and chi cultivation realms was staggering. Xiao had no time to dodge and was struck by the tail hooks. Although the shield absorbed most of the impact, he still spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed into a section of the gate wall. Li Wushao's survival in the Eastern Sea relied on the tail hooks on his tail and a few powerful techniques that utilized them. Unfortunately, he had once been ensnared by Kong Tingyun's Dharma artifact and was defeated. Now, with his tail hooks repaired, his formidable performance excited Li Xijun. "Xiao, he doesn't seem to be that strong." Just a single strike from Li Wushao was enough to make Xiao spit blood and stagger backward. Li Xijun breathed a sigh of relief. While keeping a watchful eye on the unfolding situation, he carefully observed the changing expressions of those around him. Yes, even if he were the reincarnation of a golden core realm cultivator, only a peak chi cultivator could withstand an incense stick of time against a foundation establishment realm ancestor from the Kong family. I must have been too cautious. Xijun stood in the clouds, blaming himself. He looked at the foundation establishment realm shield protecting Xiao, then fished out a talisman and sent it flying downward without hesitation. The talisman flew through the air, transforming into an exquisite little hammer adorned with golden patterns. Its ends curved upward like sheep horns as it crashed down toward Xiao with a resounding bang. Li Wushao remained focused. Two shadows darted across the ground, moving swiftly like venomous snakes. As the two spells of the foundation establishment realm collided, they struck with precision from both the front and back. The little hammer talisman Xijun used was purchased from the Yuan family. It was of exceptional quality, intended as a life-saving talisman that he had planned to only use in desperate situations. The little hammer flew through the air and collided loudly with Xiao's shield. To Li Zijun's dismay, the light of the shield merely dimmed as it withstood the attack. What a powerful talisman. With fierce determination, Li Wushao coordinated his attack according to the powerful strike of the foundation establishment realm talisman. Initially planning to whittle away the strength of his opponent, he changed his battle strategy and struck hard from both directions. Devil cultivator, you fools. This is the profound flame merging fire secret technique from the immortal. Xiao shouted, momentarily taken aback by the accusation. He wanted to retort more but was quickly silenced by the decisiveness of Li Zijun, who had unleashed a high-quality foundation establishment realm talisman right off the bat. In his hand, a black and red token materialized. Upon activating it, a burst of red light was quickly unleashed. This was an attempt to block Li Wushao's tail hooks, hoping it would buy enough time for his shield to recover. However, the red light only managed to block the black tail hooks momentarily. Xiao's mana was drained rapidly, at the speed of a whale sucking up water. Facing a foundation establishment realm cultivator like Li Wushao, a mere chi cultivator like Xiao stood no chance. Despite his mana being considerably more than most cultivators, he faltered within moments. Li Wushao was taken aback, thinking to himself, so it is indeed the merging fire secret technique from Crimson Reef Island. How did it spread all the way here? If I kill this man, will it cause trouble for my master? Gradually, Li Wushao increased his strength, and Xiao found himself in a perilous predicament, screaming internally. The pressure from a foundation establishment realm cultivator was unbearable. Without the shield, he knew he would not last more than a few exchanges against Li Wushao. Desperation took hold, and he resorted to his most powerful. Biting his tongue, he sprayed a mouthful of blood onto the token. As he cast the spell, the red light faded, and the shield creaked under the immense strain. Xiao spat with venomous hatred. Isn't your family worried about being punished by the Azure Pond Immortal sect for taking human lives this way here? Li Zijun was momentarily stunned by his words. He gave the man a bewildered look. Who could possibly rival the Azure Pond sect when it comes to taking human life? Is this man truly clueless, or is he feigning ignorance with such naive statements? The Azure Pond sect would be delighted even if my family made buns with human flesh. They would even ask for a few. Yet, as Li Zijun contemplated this, a sense of certainty washed over him. This person doesn't seem to be a reincarnate, but rather one who has inherited a legacy due to his fate. In an instant, the token flared to life, unleashing a grayish-red flame that surged up and down, swirling like mist. Li Wushao's pupils dilated in alarm, and his tail hooks recoiled like a frightened bird, though they were still grazed by the flame. Roar. Li Wushao's head swelled like a balloon, twisting and morphing until it transformed into a snake head the size of a house, supported only by his small human form. His eyes, as large as a window, blazed a furious red as he screamed in agony, unable to maintain his human guise due to the pain. His tail hooks retreated beneath his robe. A corner of them was scorched and blood was dripping from the injuries. Seeing that the flame was effective, Xiao's spirits instantly lifted. He let out a triumphant laugh, riding the wind as a red ring appeared beneath his feet, lifting him into the air.